Welcome to episode 174 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast.
The number doesn't even seem real.
I know it's going to be very weird when we hit 200.
I think I came in around number 40 or 50 probably.
And that was under 100.
Oh, yeah.
200. We said it was going to be somewhere around January. We just took a week off, so it pushes it back a week. But it should be somewhere around my birthday, I think.
That'd be cool.
So, Katie is not with us. Katie is on top of a mountain in Alabama at an all-girls camp with my daughter. But she will be back next week. She'll be back Friday. I've been home alone for a week and a half now. But she will be back Friday. But Robert's here this week.
Has it been a week and a half?
Yeah. It's been over. I mean, they left not last Friday, the Friday before.
Was it really?
Yeah.
All right.
It's been hanging out by myself. But it's cool. It's too hot to go anywhere, so.
It's stupidly hot out there.
I got out of my truck this morning at 9. It was already 91 degrees. So that shit sucks.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
And then Katie sent me a picture of the weather there, and like last night it was like 64 degrees on top of the mountain. I was like, fuck you.
Yep.
Let's get sponsor stuff out of the way. If you're looking for a high quality PVC rack or cage, look no further than Lone Star Reptile Racks. There's some other stuff in there, but Katie's not here to read the stuff on her phone. But lsreptileracks.com. See, he did it.
That's fucking ridiculous.
If you need a rack or a cage, just had a good show this weekend. We had a show in ironically in Pasadena, Texas.
Yep.
Where you just moved your shop from a week prior.
Yep. I was 7 minutes away from the shop. Now I'm 27 minutes away from the shop. But it was a good show. It was small, but there were a lot of people there. It went well. It was my best show of the year.
Yeah. And the day after, you finally saw that huge mongoose ass cage. So.
Well, I still have it. I have to take it to slide out.
Fuck that cage. It's 8 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot.
Yeah.
It's not that it's super heavy. It's not a super heavy cage.
It just takes a lot of room.
It takes a lot of room, and it's a bitch to move around.
Mm-hmm.
But we had this show. We got to hang out with a bunch of our friends. Could hang out with Todd Sanders and Paul Byfield and Robbie and Jessica and Brittany Reed. Who I feel really bad. I want to apologize in public right now to Brittany Reed because I thought we had Brittany Reed on the show.
Yeah, I didn't.
I totally thought we'd had. That's why I had not had her back on the show, but it was not back on the show. We'd never had her on the show. She'll be on the show in 2 weeks. I've remedied that situation. She's going to come over here and join us.
Because she lives 2 minutes from that show this weekend, but
our
shop is 10 minutes from here, 15 minutes from
here. So ironically, her shop is near us.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the?
D&T.
That's not D&T. That's someone that bought from D&T. It says Facebook user.
Oh.
Someone with a retake. If you need a retake, you'll need an 8 by.
Somebody got.
You'll need an 8 by 2 by 3 at least.
Yeah.
Or maybe 8 by 3 by 3. Because retakes get big. That's why I don't own retakes. Also, going with our sponsors, Herbst Reptile Shows. I pulled it up. I got it here. Slidell, Louisiana, July 22nd, 23rd. I thought about going to that. I think I'm not going to go to that.
Long drive. It's
a long drive, and my last day of my internship is that Friday. And then by the time I get home, we get ready and leave.
No, you wouldn't be in there till 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. So, but if you are in the area or if you're on that side of the South and you want to visit a herp show, Slidell, Louisiana, that's the one to do. That is July 22nd, 23rd. Then Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, July 29th, 30th. Neither one of us will be at that one. That is too far away. That is the other side of the world. We're not driving there.
If I never go to Oklahoma again, it'll be too soon.
August 12th and 13th is Corpus Christi. Ooh, that's what I need to try and do. That's close enough. I can do that.
3 hours.
I could do that.
Yeah.
That's the weekend.
We can go to the beach, James.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I agree.
They still have sand there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going there. Fuck that. Sand gets into places, and unlike an oyster, I don't make pearls, so not doing that.
It is Corey.
Hey, it's Corey.
And Darren and Canal Side Exotics.
See, Anal Side Exotics right there.
But
yeah, Corpus Christi. I think I'm going to try to do that. That's the week after my dad and I go to.
Danielle.
Oh, okay. It's the week after my dad and I go to the Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Canton.
That's right.
Can't wait to go see Beware Deware. Go to Marcus Ware.
Yep.
So yeah, that's August 12th, 13th. Bryan College Station, August 19th, 20th. Conroe, back in Conroe. We were just in Conroe. September 9th and 10th. Then the Baton Rouge show, which is technically Gonzalez, September 16th and 17th. I still think that's going to be a good show. And if you're looking to visit a show.
Well, they're all technically something else. I mean,
no, Conroe's in Conroe.
Corpus Christi's technically in Robstown.
That is true because of the laws.
Yeah. I mean, Slidell's in Slidell. Oklahoma City is technically a Shawnee.
Bryan College Station is in Bryan College Station. Lake Charles is in Lake Charles.
Yeah.
Waco's in Waco?
Yeah, now.
I haven't been to that one. So not all of them. A lot of them. But the Gonzales show is a good one. Again, that's a good one if you have a spouse that doesn't like reptiles. Just drop them off either at the Cabela's or at the outlet mall.
Right.
And then go look at reptiles. And then Waco, Texas is October 21st, 22nd. And Lake Charles is November 4th and 5th. So there's that. Also, while we're doing sponsors, and he was in the chat, there's Lewis right there. Check out Lil's Shop of Horrors on Facebook, LIL''S Shop of Horrors, or this. I sound back because I'm pretty sure it's the website also. But we'll type it in, but it's no apostrophe. Yeah, there's a website. I'm stuck at this. Sorry, Lewis, but there is a website. Lil's Shop of Horrors, LIL'S. Shop of Horrors.
We actually referred in some people that are building a pet store in San Antonio. To him.
We told him to.
Hopefully, they reach out to him.
But if you are in the Houston area and you hear this week, today, I'll try and get this out a little earlier. Get a hold of Lewis. He's coming over this way to do some deliveries this weekend and get you some rodents or insects. He's got dubias. He's got roly-polies, mice pods, stuff like that. So go check out Lil's Shop of Horrors. I'm looking forward to my rodent order. My snakes are looking forward to my rodent order. I need to fatten up my my boas so I can get them bred so they can start buying rodents. Although I got baby boas right now that need to sell so they can help buy rodents because that's all snake breeding becomes is breeding snakes so you can buy rodents. But check out Lil's Shop of Horrors. And also, VivTech, if you're looking for a high-quality LED UVB bulb, look no further than VivTech products. Use code GUMBO22 at checkout and save 15%. You can get UV bulbs. You can get all the smart devices. They got tons of smart devices, little plug things, and all that. Check out VivTech. Use code GUMBO22. Save 15%. And I also never plugged this one. Patreon. We have a Patreon. I know we don't do anything extra. We're not one of those that does an extra video for you on Patreon because
I'm barely able to get here for the one we do.
That is true. But if you do listen to us on a regular basis, and out of the kindness of your heart, if you want to donate $5 a month to us, we would appreciate it. We like the little homeless child on TV late at night. For only $5 a month, you could help us pay for this shit because Katie keeps bitching at me every time money gets pulled out of her bank account. So we do have a Patreon, the Reptile Gumbo podcast. If you can, we would appreciate it. If not, we understand. Still listen. It's cool. I think that's it. Is that it?
That was really listening.
Yeah, that's it then. But that's it. We don't have Katie here to tell us it's not it, so it's it.
I think that's so. Yes.
All right. So we had a guest tonight. It's fine. We're gonna have him on next week. There's a scheduled conflict with work because people have jobs, and apparently jobs pay money and stuff, so you have to be at them. But I did reach out to some friends of ours. I was very happy that.
Wait.
What?
Job should pay you money?
Yeah. They didn't tell you that when you started a business?
Mm-mm.
Oh, shit.
I just thought they cost us money.
You read the wrong book.
I guess.
But I was glad I could reach out to our friends. Super happy when they always come on. Go ahead and add our friends in. It is the Howdies from Focus Cube. How's it going, Howdies?
Hey, it's great to be second best.
You're not second best. Y'all never second. Also, don't judge the fact that this sign behind me is not on the wall. That's out of pure laziness because when we got this chameleon, I had to move the sign over. And as you can see, I haven't actually moved the little brackets to hold the sign.
That's how much he values things.
That is not true. I made sure it was behind me.
Every time I've seen this.
So just right now, got it. But it's behind me still. You can still see it. And it's still one of my favorite things I own in my entire house. I just have got to get off my ass and move some hooks on the wall. But how are y'all doing?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, hanging in there.
Yeah. Trying to keep cool.
I'm saying y'all aren't melting over there yet?
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah, well, fortunately, our shop has AC, but
We got it back on.
Yeah, it really doesn't keep up too well. So we can't complain because there is AC, but it is still nuclear hot.
Yeah, it was brutal out there today. Today felt hotter than any day yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me, but it was just no matter where I was, it was just.
Well, hopefully your new shop will be better soon.
Yeah, I get that wall put up next week,
and then
I'll have that whole area with the laser is air conditioned.
Yeah, and then get you another window unit or a split to add to that, or
me too.
think it's gonna be enough once you open that window?
Yeah, landlord came over and he said, "Yeah, when I had that wall up there, I would just open that door and open that window, and it did it fine out here. It's a 1,400 square foot mini split, and that's only like 800 square feet.
Nice.
Those two rooms together. So
yeah, it's ungodly hot down here.
Yeah.
But
I was in that little side room where all the PVC is.
Oh.
And
yeah, that's outside.
At like 4.
It's covered and closed in, but that's outside.
Yeah, but that you could just the heat radiating off that metal is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the thing about PVC. What?
It becomes an oven.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing about PVC. People, people would think, oh, you put it in there, it's gonna warp and melt. PVC does fine with the heat. It's just when people put it in the sun and don't realize or have been told that it will mess up in the sun, and then it warps, and then they want to go, hey, why did my PVC mess up?
Yeah, I had one this weekend. I sold them a rack, and I told them he pulled up in a truck to pick it up, and I said, hey, you guys need to cover this with something, or put it in the back seat of the truck. Okay, we'll just put it in the back seat, because I knew they were driving like 3 hours, and they messaged me yesterday with pictures of it, and it's like the whole top is caved, like warped in, and then the whole back looks like somebody wadded up a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And
PVC does not like UV light.
So I told you guys not to leave in the sun. We just thought you were being overly cautious.
Yeah, we keep UV wrap at the shop now because we just know what happens. Everybody shows up and they're from 4 hours away, and we just go ahead and wrap it in black because we know it's going to be in a truck bed for 4 hours and sun all the way. So
I'm just going to have to buy some
to mitigate that
because that's not the first time it's happened, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is why
PVC, I mean, it's good to like 130-ish degrees, but when you put it in the sun, it just absorbs all that heat and it gets way beyond that. It is fast. It is fast.
Well, I even showed them when we were rolling it out to the truck. I walked out in the sun and I told her it had been 10 seconds. I said, put your hand on it. And she put her hand. She's like, wow, that got hot quick. And I said, yeah, it's like 10 seconds. So don't leave it sitting in the sun. They stopped at 8. They, it's shot. I'm going to have to. I told them I'd replace some of the parts for them, but.
Well, I know some people will see that and they go, well, it's because it's crappy product, yada, yada, yada. That's just how PVC works.
Right.
It's not meant to bake in the sun.
I learned the hard way when I bought my very first sheet. I brought it home and I leaned it up against the wall in the garage. And I went inside and had lunch and hung out for a little bit. And the sun moved and caught the corner of it. And it just curled it up.
Yeah.
And I think I paid like $160 for that sheet. And
you say that like it's crazy now, but that's close to what you pay for a sheet now.
Yeah, that's when they were $60 a sheet. And learned that lesson real quick. I keep a moving blanket in my truck because you never know when I'm going to pick up something. Yeah. So I just keep one in the back of my truck in case I have to cover one.
Yep.
Yeah, we're paranoid about pallets too. As soon as we get a pallet in, we're trying to shuck it in there as quick as we can.
We had one delivered today at like 2, so we had to unload it in the hot sun, but we were like, we're not leaving it outside, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've got a cage in my other room that someone gave me, and that's how I learned the hard way because I put it outside because it was gross. I got it and it was nasty, and I was like, it's not coming to my house till I can clean it. So I put it on the back porch, and then I went out there and it had warped on top, and I was like, oh, this is my genius. I'll flip it over and it'll flatten back. And then now just the top and bottom are both warped.
Nice. I've seen a guy try and fix one with a bunch of clamps and boards. I'm like, it's over, man.
You can't do it.
Yeah, it's over.
Done.
No, that shit warps.
The people yesterday asked me if they could take a heat gun and warm it up, and I was like, no, it's changed the molecular structure of the PVC. That piece is done.
Yeah, I mean they can take a heat gun.
Got a great chlorine gas trying to melt it. Yeah.
It's good to breathe in.
Yeah.
I was also our podcast night is open up to anybody that wants to. If you go over to our Facebook page and group, we put the link on there. You join, and we'll see you pop up in the little green room down here, and we can add you. Oh, that's my
Facebook user.
Hey, wife. But you can join them and join in on chat. So I'm going to go ahead and add our first guest because for some reason other people like hearing them talk. It's my dad, Sam. How's it going, Sam?
Hello. What do you mean for some reason? You grew up loving to hear me talk and set you down the path.
I don't live in your house anymore. I don't have to lie anymore.
I will say last time he was here and we all went to dinner, he and Logan sat at the end of the table, my son, and we forgot they were there.
I try to forget Sam's there a lot.
Yeah, I did. Logan worked out.
That's because he was the only intelligent conversation I could find.
I knew that was coming when I set myself up for
That's
that.
probably true.
He will surprise you with how intelligent a conversation he can carry on for 13-year-old.
Absolutely, I enjoyed talking with him. He was a pretty impressive young guy.
He's at the beach this whole week fishing, Sam.
Gross. Fishing's fun.
Yeah.
Beach. Gross. Sam's with you on the beach. We're both.
Yeah, I got too many nooks and crannies.
See, I told you I don't make pearls. I'm not putting sand in those places. So Ashley, Steven, how's business been?
It's been good. Yeah, we've been
insane.
Pretty freaking busy. So
yeah,
we got all that new equipment in, and all that's done is made us make stuff faster. So it just the velocity of what goes in and out of there is even more now. So
it's dizzying.
Yeah, we took all the orders we could when we had our old Avid, and you think you're busy, but you're limited by the machine. And then as soon as you free up, you can reduce cycle times and you can get stuff out faster. You just get busier again. So it's just this constant whirl of I can't believe,
Yeah, it's just been ramping
trying to
up
figure
and
out
up
how
and
to
up.
continue to scale and keep on top of everything. Make sure you have enough hardware, you got enough material, make sure you got enough coming, make sure everybody knows that they need to have it coming, and on and on. But it's been good. We've been, busy as could be still, fortunately.
Say supply chain stuff is some of the hardest parts I know.
It eats up so much.
Keeping on people to, you'd think would want to sell us stuff, but you have to be knocking on their door all the time. Hey, did you order it? Did you order it? Did you order it?
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll get better now, though, because, during the whole COVID thing, is it was first come, first serve, and you had to basically beg to get stuff. At this point, I guess, overall stuff is slowed down. So now we can actually get in there and buy material without having to beat everybody over the head too bad. So we have, multiple suppliers for most of our stuff now, just because it's too scary when you're relying on one source and they sell out of a particular, part or piece that you need, you're stuck. So we're trying to spread that out as much as we can now.
Do you ever use the Herpstat intro for any of your stuff?
We used to build an enclosure that actually had it made into it. So it was our little matrix. It was basically a 1 cubic foot enclosure. I think it was 13 by 12 by 12. And we had an intro plus mounted in the bottom of it, and it had the heating element in it. So it was one little self-contained unit. So people were getting a new green tree or something, they didn't have to go source all the stuff. You could just basically buy the whole, shebang and turn it on and set your temp and not mess with it anymore.
Did it drive you nuts when they discontinued making that?
Well, we haven't used them a whole lot anymore. So that was kind of a model that we sort of phased out. And basically all the ones that I have, they're just kind of randomly around the house plugged into stuff. So I hadn't really messed with them in forever.
That was just one I was thinking this weekend. I was talking about thermostats, and I was like, the intro was such a great one for people that made stuff, because it was made to fit into things and flush mount into stuff. And then Herpstat's like, no, we're not going to make that anymore. And I'm like, well, shit, that sucks for people that want to make.
I think I still have 3 of them both somewhere.
Well, now most products are getting so complicated. Having a single probe isn't, enough anymore. A lot of the units that we do, they have multiple heating, lighting components in them. So even a Herpstat 1 is almost, obsolete in a lot of instances now. So
yeah, we mostly use the Herpstat 4.
Yeah.
I like that. Because the 4 is the one thing I didn't get. Once I sold enough snakes at one point to buy a 4, they had just come out with the 6. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's $100 more, I'll get the 6.
I've gotten to the point where if somebody contacts me and they're like, I need a cage and I need this and this and this and this, I'm like, focuscube.com. Go to them. They can do all those things for you. I want to focus on this. Simple, get it done.
Robert's like, I can build you a box for if you just need a box for stuff.
But if Steven is so good at that design, and he can actually execute that so well that that's theirs. That is their niche. Go buy from them because you're going to love it. And I send a lot of people that way because I used to think that I would want to do that. I could never do it.
I'm blown away by and I say it every time, but I'm blown away by the amount of options y'all have for stuff. Because that's always people are like, when a business starts don't give too many options, and Steven's like, fuck it, more options. We don't have enough options. 100 more options.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's limited. We have to peel back a lot of stuff. We continually go through there and kind of take stuff away that isn't ordered a lot, or maybe is kind of conflicting or confusing. But there's way more stuff I'd like to have on there. But the amount of time that you spend trying to teach everybody, what every single component is and how they're supposed to work together, and and then you get all the. You sell something with a bunch of components in it, and then people buy that thermostat from, who knows who, and then they want us to teach them how to use it, and it's like, making a box, an empty box, that's the business, man.
It's so
if
nice.
you can sell empty boxes and just turn them over, that's how you make money. The stuff that we do is, I don't know why.
It's incredibly time consuming.
Like I spend so much time just laying out ceilings and enclosures because you'd think people would order the same thing twice, and it rarely happens. I mean, as many as we sell, it's almost every day is a new day. I'm laying stuff out. I got a set of squares on there, and if that's not good enough, I'll go into CAD, and I have, every heat panel, every UVB. I have all of the guards for the lamp holder pros. I have everything modeled in CAD, and I will literally put it out in there, and I will try and lay the roof out before I start drilling holes and hope I got it all right. So I'll lay it out in CAD first, and if it looks right, then usually I can program in the screw holes so I don't have to do anything manually. I just have the machine boom, boom, put everything in the top where it's supposed to be, and then I just walk over with the components and screw them down.
That's every time I mount a heat panel or a light for somebody, I'm like, and then I think about some of the pictures I've seen that you've posted, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
All the cord routing and cord covers.
Because you want everything to be straight and look nice, and it has to look right. And when you're putting in a heat panel and 2 different lights and all the stuff I've seen them put in, and then they put their shelf in and their ladders and all that. Holy shit, that's a lot of stuff. But it looks amazing. Yeah. Darren Watson asked, what size enclosure do you sell the most of?
I think the quintessential size is a 4x2x2. It works for so many species. I mean, and everybody kind of, that's sort of their flagship unit, I guess, just because it works for just so many different animals. So you can put small animals in it for, larger. You can put
as they grow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can put all kind of different species, and it's the most versatile. So that's another thing is since we have so many different potential layouts, I'm making a new 4x2x2 pretty much every day.
Yeah, it has. The
shelves, no shelves, height hangers, ceiling hangers, heat panel, no heat panel. What brand of heat panel do you want? We have 3 different brands of heat panels. I mean, you're putting deep heats and halogens. You're doing combinations of them. Did you want a dimmable LED or a jungle dawn? I mean, it's
screens.
Screens, no screens. Internally mounted, externally mounted. So
that's way too many combinations.
And the 4x2 purchase.
Yeah.
Have you had anybody do the math to figure out how many different combinations there are of cages you make?
Yeah, I need to do it. I need to just sit down and do it, because if you take every potential option, color, ceiling layout, it's got to be. It's like, what is it? McDonald's. There's like a million ways to make a hamburger. I think it is over a million with all of
we have 30 different models, over 30 now.
Yeah, and they have 10 to 30 options each, so somebody can run the numbers on that.
Yeah,
shit ton.
I'm just going through the 4x2x2 now, just building one.
Yeah,
and it's 7 choices.
Yeah.
Yep.
4x2x2 was the first size cage my dad and I built for our rainbow boa, and then when we built it, we're like, yeah, we built too big of a cage. It was. I didn't realize how big 4x2x2 was when we built it, and it was big.
Yeah, well, people come to the shop to pick up their 4x2x2 model, and they get there and they're like, "This is a lot bigger than I thought." And I'm like, "I don't know how big you thought it was going to be. It's literally."
I get people that I've gotten to where now I tell them, "What are you driving?" Because I've got to show them,
you have to do that.
I mean, I know you guys have. Show them a Toyota Corolla, and I'm like,
"Nope,
yeah, this won't even fit on the roof if that was an option." Well, that's not true. I was not there one day, and I had some people drive all the way from Corpus to pick up 3 racks, and on the way here, they took their truck by the dealership and ended up trading it in and buying a brand new Mazda car. On the way here, they strapped 3 racks to the roof of that car. I have a picture. I'll have to send it to you guys because you guys will appreciate it.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
They strapped. I wasn't there. My employee was at the time. This was 2 years ago.
I remember that.
Yeah, strapped 3. He sends me a picture. I'm like, please tell me that you didn't touch any of them fucking straps. He goes, nope, man. I told them I am not. He's like, I knew better than that. Like, thank goodness, because my insurance would not like that if they come flying off on the freeway. And he texted me that night. I made it home with the cages, man, the racks, man. Thank you. All right. They had 4 people in the car.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
They brought their grandma and their aunt.
Wow, a road trip.
Yeah. And bought a new car on the way.
I'm amazed at people. Look, I've had to strap something to the roof once, but I honestly thought that my SUV was going to be large enough to fit a 4x2 by 16 gauge and then like a 10 tub 70 rack, and it wasn't. So I had to strap a 10 tub 70 rack to the top of the Kia Sorento once. So I was that person once, but I came with a vehicle that I thought was big enough. I didn't show up with a little car. That is also the last time I'll ever buy a 10 tub. Anybody listening, if you're like, oh man, I need a 10 tub rack. No, you fucking don't. You don't. You need 2 5 tub racks. Don't ever buy a 10 tub rack. It's a fucking nightmare. And I hate it, especially since I was like, I'll never live in a 2-story house. And now I live in a 2-story house and it's upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who want like multi-unit enclosures. So basically one giant enclosure that's several sizes integrated into one. And I'm like, it sounds like a cool idea, but first off, you got to ship it by freight. Second, if it's flat pack, you may have some difficulty trying to figure out how we assembled it. And then third, how are you ever going to move it? I mean, it's
you can't get it through doorways. It's really, but everybody, we get a lot of questions about those.
Yeah, it's much better just to have single units you can move around or rearrange or whatever. Just one big giant thing's not necessarily sounds cool. When you stack all the enclosures, it looks like one unit. But
yeah,
just trying to sell one giant thing that's a bunch of different sizes. It sounds great. Doesn't always.
Robert made one for a girl once. It was all 4-foot enclosures, but it was one piece. I think it was like 4 or 5 4-foot enclosures, wasn't there, Robert?
It was 4 by 2 by 12s, basically.
Yeah.
All one piece.
That was a fucking beast.
I did that once.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they came with a trailer and picked, actually, it was 2 of them. And we put it on casters, but they came and picked them up.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. With a big trailer. I'm trying to find that picture because I know I have it somewhere. I kind of want to see it too, because it's been a while.
That's people just don't think out logistics. They think things are cool and they don't think out logistics. Well, let it be picking up a giant rack with a car, or where they're going to put it in their house, or not even, they have the idea in the house, idea where they're going to put it in the house. They just haven't thought about having to get it there.
Yeah, through doorways. I mean, and round corners, that's a huge thing too. But with the cars, it's funny, you may have enough interior space, but you're not going to be able to fit it through. You got to fit the box through the doorway.
Yeah.
So, an open door is not necessarily, it's not going to, you can't fit.
Yeah, they'll measure the door this direction and then forget, the opposite way. And I'm like, well, one dimension is correct, but you're off at least 1 or 2 more.
It doesn't fit.
Let's see. I was going to talk about there was a question that I posted for Ashley. This is the one, or Ashley or Steven. I think it was Ashley came with this one. It says, as a breeder or business, how do you set yourself apart from the rest when times are slow? Which for a lot of people right now in the hobby, times are slow. And so there's some good answers here. I liked Bill Stiegel's response.
Yep,
yeah.
Just a picture.
Just a picture.
You saw my response to his picture.
Yes.
Enough said.
We had Bill on before.
Yeah.
We got him on before to talk about his amazing green trees, and he just posted this amazing fucking green tree baby. And he's like, "This is how I do it." Yep.
That's exactly
how. Even like Sam's still there. Even my dad, he's not a snake person really, but I remember Sam when we showed him the sickness. You thought that was amazing. That green tree that was black and green and all, right, Sam?
Blue. And,
yeah. So, like, even a non-reptile person can look at Bill's stuff and go, well, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It just looks more.
It doesn't even look real.
But he still has the, whatever you want to call, like I call it, the customer service. He hits the double whammy, like I said, that the Reddies do.
Yes.
He doesn't just produce incredible animals. He produces incredible animals, and seems anyway, and from what a heck of a guy, and someone who really cares about them and the people who invest in him.
That is true. One picture from Bill Stiegel does not explain Bill Stiegel enough. He's great at this stuff. Speaking of the Reddies, I'll read theirs real quick. So the Reddies, Amanda said, we provide lifetime support, which sometimes can make lifetime customers. We stay active in the community and provide knowledge where we can. Also, we love to post reminders to gut load your bugs and provide pictures for ideas of different gut loading options. They're big on what you feed your animal. But yeah, I can definitely, the Reddies are, if anybody's, and Sam said it too, and you want to reply, if you ever want to see how somebody's supposed to sell their animal and sell themselves, they're the ones to watch if you go to a show. Those guys stand there in front of those amazing chameleons. And then you would think those chameleons on their own could sell themselves, but man, they'll sell you on. That's why I have this fucking chameleon in my house.
I love that chameleon.
I do love this chameleon, but fuck you, Reddies.
Hey,
but the last.
I want to tell everybody about what happened in my neighborhood Saturday night.
We'll get to it. I promise. We'll get to it. No, that's good. We'll get to that.
Okay.
I like Joe Phelan's response. I don't think this is really Joe, but this is definitely a response to some other people in the hobby recently. He said his way to do it while times are slow is manufacture Facebook drama, which there are definitely people right now in the hobby who just keep bringing drama and
like
drama.
My whole fucking feed right now.
Well, it's because one person ends up being your whole fucking feed because that one person posts about 10 times a day about their place, just their market for selling reptiles.
Yeah.
You guys wondering who I'm talking about?
I'm gonna leave it with that.
Let's see. I'll read Sam's real quick. Yours was long, but it was good. So Sam, like he said, is not a breeder. He's never done reptiles, but he did retail. He was a manager for retail for a long time, which again, I think a lot of breeders, especially at a show, don't understand that they have to be a salesperson. Like you see a lot of people at shows and they don't get that. They're also you're a salesperson. People, just because you have the animal doesn't mean you're going to sell the animal. I think the number one example is ball python breeders. Go to a show and there's 30, 40, 50 of them. You've got to sell to somebody because they can go to any of those people and just get the animal off the table. But Sam said, deliver a better product. If you breed a better animal, you can demand top dollar for your animals. If you can't deliver a better product, you have to try to sell based on the price and value. Not a good position to be in. And he said, deliver best-in-class customer service. Let's face it, these animals aren't a necessity, and they sure ain't cheap. I can promise you that delivering great service will get the dedicated customers who will recommend you to everybody that they encounter. The quality of the product that you deliver is not 100% controllable, but how you treat your customers and potential customers is 100% up to you, which is true.
Well said. Or tight.
Don't give them credit.
Well, you know, I throw them a bone every once in a while.
But
I'll give myself credit from you. But and again, I'm an old school retail guy, so that is very different. But bottom line is, you're still running a business, and you still, if you don't treat someone well, they're not gonna recommend you. They're not gonna continue to buy from you, and you're gonna be hungry.
Well, yeah, if the Howdies made a good product, which they do, but then treat people like shit, it wouldn't matter how great your product is, right? They're not going to call you again for another cage.
Right.
Nope.
And the hardest part, I think, for a lot of people to understand, and this is a fine line to walk because, like Robert said before, you will fire a customer, right? If you have a customer who is unruly and hard to deal with, you will fire them, which I get. But some people have zero patience with their customers.
Yeah.
And that is something and the problem is, we've said before, in our hobby, the majority of people in our hobby aren't people. That's kind of why they like reptiles, because they're not people. And they're like, I'm not a people person, but then I want to breed reptiles and sell them to people. Well, there's an issue there. So sometimes you have to deal with customers better. And there are some people that they lack that skill.
Yes,
it's really offering the customer a lot of resources too, is being able to, offer them. Part of the customer service is having, with breeding or like the enclosures, we have lots of information that people can learn and try to help, educate themselves. And the same with the crested geckos that I breed. I had little write-ups about like kind of genetics and stuff, because that's the most common questions. So you get to point somebody to it and they can get to learn, and it's all part of the customer experience there. So you can do it kind of both ways. A lot of people complain about, everybody asking questions, but if you have those good resources that you've, well thought out, and if it's a common question, it's really nice to be able to point people that way. And it takes off some of the burden of, having to explain everything every time when it's a common question.
Yeah. Which happens a lot, especially for you guys who sell this, there's people coming into a hobby and they're going to ask those same beginner questions for a cage or a rack. And so that's definitely being able to have resources to go, hey, watch this, listen to this, read this. Those help.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's where a lot of like breeders and, anybody gets frustrated is where they have to, keep answering the same question. But if you take the burden off of you and you make an actual quality kind of like resource for somebody to go, then it helps them. And then you can bounce back ideas after that. But, it takes the initial, where a lot of people say tire kickers, you don't want to deal with tire kickers, but it's not necessarily that they're tire kicking. They just don't know. So you being able to help them through the process it's resources. Resources is all part of the customer experience.
One of the listeners said, Jason Creekmore, I probably butchered that. Said, don't tell potential customer at an expo that when they ask how it's going, that they wish parents would leave their kids at home and not bring them to the cheap petting zoo.
I'm assuming there must be a backstory to that.
So there's two sides to that kind of comment. I agree. You can 100% think it.
Yes.
Don't say it, but I have definitely thought it many times, only because I'm all for people bringing their kids to a show because it'll be the first time they fall in love with the animals. But I blame it on the parents for not having the common sense to understand that it's not a petting zoo. Yeah. I don't blame it on the kid. Kid asked to hold something. The parents' first thing shouldn't be to push that off onto a breeder. Go, can they hold something? The parents should figure that out ahead of time. But
you got the second one where you really sound like you butchered it. He said that was right. And I bet you don't even remember what you said.
Mauer?
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, try not to badmouth the customers to their face. I see that a lot of times. People say, but that happens. Like people will say negative things to the customer. I'm like, they don't need to hear it. You can think it, and the other vendors around you are probably thinking it, and you all get to say it to each other when they walk away. But censor some stuff.
Yeah, for the most part, it's better to say just nothing at all. Don't even let those thoughts come in or go out. Just let it all go.
And bottom line, when those things happen, you're not only hurting your business, but you're hurting the hobby. You're keeping someone who could be a great addition to the hobby from getting into the hobby. Yeah.
I saw a couple of kids this weekend that I was impressed by. One was a young lady that talked to you about a cage. She was she knew very matter of fact what she wanted in a cage and how she wanted to set up and what she wanted to be able to do. And she was probably 15, 16.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
She knew what she wanted. There was a couple things that we educated her on, and she was like, okay, well, that makes more sense than what I was thinking I wanted to do.
Yeah.
She was trying to do.
She wanted to do lights inside of. She was afraid to put the lights inside.
She didn't understand. She didn't know what a rated heat panel was.
Yeah.
And once we explained to her, it's better not to put screen on the top for a ball python and to do these things. And she was sold on that. She was all about it.
She was good. And then there was another girl I saw. I didn't talk to her, but I think she shot at Paul's table as well. She was probably, I don't know, 10, 11. She had a little notebook. She may have been younger than that. And she was walking around taking notes on every animal that she thought she was seeing and talking to the breeders and asking questions. She was planning.
Her mom.
Did you?
She told her, I will take you to the show. You do the research on that. You go and you figure out which animals you like. And then you're going to do the research on them. And then the next show, we'll figure out how much we need to save. The next show, when it comes in October, I'll bring you back and you can buy the animal that you do the research. So she was actually going to write a research paper on it.
That's what Travis did for Travis Wyman did his daughter to get a scrub python.
So that little girl was taking copious amounts of notes. And she was 10.
Yeah.
If that.
The great thing about that is those of you that have kids know that it takes about a month and then they move on from a lot of stuff. If that kid does that and still in October, whenever it is, wants that animal, there's a good chance that kid actually wants that animal, take care of that animal.
Yeah.
Versus the parents that walk in and go, you want that? Here you go. And then go home and then it dies in like a month.
Or we end up with, there was a couple people there this weekend selling ball pythons that their kids had bought.
Look, there was one kid walking around with a shoebox with a retic. He walked up to Robbie and said, hey, do you want to trade a ball python for this? And he opened it up, there's a retic in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I saw two people walking around with ball pythons trying to trade them off.
And then there was a girl who.
There was a girl that bought a tokay gecko from a rescue. So she paid from a rescue. And she already, within 5 hours of buying it at the show, already had it on Facebook for sale.
She was trying to trade it for other things, trying to trade up.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we even got home.
Yeah. That's the fastest I've ever seen an animal go from a show to Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, it did not go well for her. because the person from the rescue is not one you're going to do that
No.
to and get away with it.
Darren says, when researching enclosures, I love seeing videos, both from the builder and customer reviews. So many small companies don't have videos or even websites, just Facebook pictures. I agree. The first thing I'm a very much I research the shit out of something. If I'm going to buy something that's worth $200 or more, sometimes worth $30, I'll go straight to YouTube and I'll watch like 500-700 videos on it before I buy it. So videos are a big thing, especially like for you guys, Ashley, Steven, with so many options. Being able to show those things in a video makes way more sense, and you can explain them.
It helps. I mean, we have over 500 videos on our YouTube, Focus Cubed YouTube channel, just because we have all different enclosures. So I try to show off, the ones that I do what's called an enclosure talk, where I go through kind of the details and the options and everything, and kind of explain, like with the sliders, how the glass goes in and out and all that stuff. And it can get repetitive. They're just short, like 2-3 minute videos. But if somebody's looking for a color or an option or a combination of options, it kind of shows it. And then we have some more detailed ones where Steven will go through kind of the design theory and stuff like that. So yeah, that and all that stuff takes time, but it really does help, because I mean, when I'm looking, I try to think of like when I'm looking for something, like you said, if you're researching something, you want to go and watch reviews, look at videos, and actually as tangible as you can, get your hands on it over the internet. So great photos and great video and great media. That's a lot of the effort that we put into the website and everything is just based on that, because I want to know when I'm looking at something. So I feel like that we should provide that for people, give them the option,
Yeah, and being able to send a picture of exactly something that they want. It's not like we have every combination sitting behind us. We can just go pull off the shelf and show you what it looks like. So as you make stuff, basically you better video it, record it, so you have some kind of
video archive.
Yeah, evidence of going, this is how we lay these things out, or this is what you can expect this to look like.
Yeah, Robert gets that all the time. Can you send me a picture of what does a 4x2x2 look like, or this rack? Or
well, I can send you a representative photo. I'm not going to dig that one out in the shop and take another photo of it. But right now, do what?
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I trip people out. I'll send them CAD pictures and stuff, so I'll be all confused why it's not a real thing.
I'm working on a deal right now with a sign thing, and the guy's been wanting me to send him photos of all these signs, and I'm like, shit, I have all these signs that I've made that I never took photos of, and so I'm having to make samples, because I was horrible there for a while about taking pictures because I was so busy, and it all
takes time.
It does, and it's just me.
Yeah.
So it's it's just the two of you, so you guys know.
We have the website. We always point people towards it, and they're like, I mean, we have thousands of hours and lots of dollars into the website just to make it easier to use, and we love feedback on it. But yeah, it's all the pictures and stuff. I mean, like you said, it all takes time.
Well, in videos, you can tell how important videos are, even if you're like shopping on Amazon. Like most things, when you pull up on Amazon, have like 4 pictures and then a product video, because they know that that's going to help sell our product. Also, Prime Day is going on right now, and I'm very upset that it's happening before I get paid, because the drone that I want is like $300 off on Amazon right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I love how
it's an expensive drone.
It's a credit card.
Yeah.
Pay that off when you get it.
Don't have one of those right now to use either. So yeah, fucking Amazon. They couldn't wait till payday to put shit on Prime Day. That's like at school. Every now and then at school will do people like selling candy, but they always do it like the week before payday. Like you don't want to wait until like right after payday to sell shit. What do you?
Oh, a picture of a snake in a local group, and of course this girl commented, "Kill all snakes. They kill people." And she's riding a horse in the thing. I'm like, more people are killed by horses than snakes. Let's euthanize all horses. Well, she just responded. So let's.
Yeah. How horrible of a person are you, Robert? Just killing horses.
Guarantee it.
God, I don't trust horses. They paralyze Superman.
Right.
I mean, you saw how many people tried to kill Superman. They didn't kill Superman, and a fucking horse did it. I don't trust horses. Going back to our question real quick, some other ones. Mindy Fitzgerald said, "Our reputation alone is enough because we're ethical as fuck." Okay, that's one way to put it. I will say, in this hobby, a reputation is hard to build, but it is very easy to ruin quickly.
That's with any business, really.
Yeah. Well, I always laugh at the posts you see every now and then for a small business where like Because like McDonald's can mess up your order like 50% of the time, and you'll still go back to McDonald's. But if like a small business messes up your order, they won't come back to you. They'll blast you all over everything.
Yeah, I shared that one, I think, a couple years ago.
Yeah, they violently hate you.
Violently.
Yeah. Mess up one time. McDonald's will put pickles on your shit every time you tell them I put pickles on it. You're like, I'll go try it again. You fuck up one time, like, you're a horrible human being. You should shut down your entire business, and no one should buy stuff from you ever again.
And I'll tell everyone I know, starting now.
All 5 people that are listening. But yeah, so basically on there, the whole thing, people talk about how to set themselves apart. Customer service is really the way to set yourself. It's I think the easiest way to set yourself apart because it costs nothing. It's not a flashy new banner or ads on Facebook or even pictures. It's just a matter of like being nice and helpful, and that shit goes a lot farther. Because I mean, again, go to a show and look at how many vendors don't talk to customers, don't say hi. That's the number one thing I'll do. The number one thing you can do, the easiest thing you can do as a vendor at any show without having to really sell, is look at a person and ask them how they're doing, because that opens up a dialogue. A lot of customers will just keep walking by, but the moment you say, how are you doing?
Right.
Then if they have a question, they feel like they can ask that question, and then you can help them. Right. And that's a super easy thing to do. You don't have to be the most outgoing person. Just look at them, smile, and say, how are you doing today? Now, if you want to sell more, do a little more. But that is the bare minimum you can do.
Well, yeah, even outside of when you're talking about like a breeder. Go on, Sam.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It like kind of went over, but I was saying if you're a breeder, like right now the crested geckos are slow, at least for me, because I focus on like the high end stuff. So you kind of got to pull back a little bit and focus on your projects, really decide on what you want to breed for the future, so you don't have a plethora of animals that you're having to feed and house, and work on your systems. So make it more efficient in care and cleaning and your enclosures. And so I think a lot of that is like when you have the quote downtime, it's slow, your animals are still going to be there. So work on efficiency and quality. So breed quality and upgrade your system, your enclosures, stuff like that. So you kind of focus more on the internal stuff while keeping, you need to do the social media and customer service and all that. But it's kind of the both sides of the story when it comes to the breeding part.
No, it's D&T.
Okay. Go ahead, Sam.
No, I was to what you were saying, James, where, if you want to sell more, do more, as far as talking to people. But very honestly, and again, I'm somewhat of an outsider to the reptile hobby, but I've been around it long enough to see it and going to the shows with y'all. You don't have to go overboard with it to be the one honestly, the one that stands out as that guy who talked to me or that lady who, gave me some information. And again, I'm an old school retail guy, and I did it for a long time and managed big stores. It's amazing if you can get one person in your store to really want to talk to people. And It doesn't have to be these long drawn outs. It's just a little bit of empathy. And it doesn't have to be real. James used to accuse me all the time of having my fake customer service voice.
It's true.
Again, it doesn't have to be, but again, you're running a business. And I think, to me, that's what I think some folks in any hobby, not just reptiles, but in any hobby, people that are trying to make a living in that hobby sometimes forget they're actually running a business. They're not running a hobby. and if that's how you feed your family, it's worth it.
Yeah, if you're in a show selling animals, you're still running a business. No matter if it's just a hobby business, a side business, it's still a business. Yeah,
if you're trying to sell them, if it's not a business, you would stay at home with all your animals and just be happy. And it doesn't have to.
You wouldn't have to talk to people.
Exactly. And look, there's tons of people out there that breed and they just wholesale their animals off because they don't want to do the talking to people. But I like it. And talking about having something to give them, there are a lot of bad care sheets out there. I don't think care sheets are the best thing because a lot of people take the care sheet and then it becomes their Bible for how to take care of that animal. And that's not always the best way because there's a ton of ways to take care of an animal. But I do provide a care sheet with all of my different species that I've produced because I at least want to give them a starting point. I've talked to them and they get home and they forget what I said. At least it's on there. But what's also on there is my email, so they can shoot me an email. But I made this because I want them to have something to go home. Because if you just give them an animal, send them on their way, then you're like, all right, you're feeding them to the week. Go see what the internet says. Because you want to kill horses?
Yeah, apparently.
Stop trying to kill horses, Robert.
I mean, I eat horse meat for influence.
I'm all for eating horse meat.
But I also grew up with horses on a ranch, so.
But yeah, I think setting yourself apart is really not that hard because, again, there are a lot of people that are really bad at selling whatever their product is at a reptile show.
And again, maybe if some people at it different than just selling, but building the hobby, or whatever word you want to use, but increasing the membership, so to speak, of the hobby, and that makes the hobby stronger. And it not to change the subject, but it helps you with all kinds of all these legal things that are going on right now.
Yeah. You've definitely got to put a good side to everything in our hobby as well because of all the negative legal stuff that does happen.
Well, and just more people in the hobby is a better, people is how you stop all the bad stuff from happening in the legal world, and you need people in the hobby. Bottom line.
I don't know where I've heard the stat several times, so I'm not saying it's 100% true, but that the number of reptiles in households has overcome the number of dogs and cats in households in the United States.
I don't believe that.
I've heard it several times. Now, I do wonder if they're counting the number of reptiles versus households because, like, I own 100 and something snakes.
True.
Right? And actually owns a ton of lizards. So, like, I think there probably are more reptiles.
You don't have 100 dogs.
You have 80 dogs in your house. Yeah, like it smells in here.
With over 9 million reptiles kept as pets in the U.S. alone, so 9 million reptiles. Let's go to dogs now. Yeah, keep talking.
So yeah, I think that number may be skewed, but you can kind of see that. I mean, there are a lot of when you go to like PetSmart, those areas have grown.
65.1 million U.S. households own at least one dog. So I'm going to go with that. There's more dogs than cats because
I don't know where I've heard this.
That's at least 65 million dogs.
I wonder where that number. It's got to be.
Yeah, they're probably doing it by households, but not at number of animals.
That's true.
So, but I mean, it is growing.
There's a lot of people with reptiles.
You can keep a lot of.
It's not a small number of people. Everybody, like family and people who don't know anything about this hobby, they see our shop, they see what we're doing. They're like, "There's this many people who need these things," and I'm like, "We're but one teeny tiny company in a giant sea of people who make this stuff, and we're itty bitty." So I'm like, the market is huge.
Yeah, and like you said, you can have 80 reptiles like we have, and 2 dogs are insanely a lot of work. So I'm like, there's a difference.
Mics. I don't know why, but it's clicking for some reason.
Okay. Yeah, so this is just households, obviously. 65.1 million dogs, 46.5 million cats, 11 million freshwater fish, 6 million bird, 6.7 million small mammals, 6 million reptiles. 2 million horse, 2 million saltwater fish. Households. So, I mean, that doesn't take much because that would be 10 reptiles per household to put you at 60 million.
Yeah, and that's easy enough to do.
Yeah, I guess it could be pretty accurate.
So there's more reptiles, just not households with reptiles.
Right, but that doesn't help us when it comes to passing legislation and stuff because it's still 1/10 of the amount of people that own. But
you definitely see the swing in the hobby. So look, go to a reptile show, and this weekend we saw a lot of very interesting people, and you definitely see those people that you expect to see at a reptile show.
Sure,
the people that are monochromatic when it comes to their clothes color. It's all black, and lots of holes and piercings. You see a lot of that, but you're seeing a lot of very suburban type families coming in and buying their first whatever. And actually being interested in getting not a dog or a cat. And those are the ones, I don't say we need to not help the weirdos. And I can say weirdos because we're weirdos, but you need to really try and push the normies. The normies are the ones that are going to help us because that mom that has her little kid and wants to buy a bearded dragon is the one that's going to help with legislation issues. And the problem is you'll see a lot of people, a lot of breeders or vendors will kind of ignore some people because they don't want to put the time into cultivating that whole thing and getting that kid and that family and that parent to be, we should get that.
One of my family members became a reptile owner this weekend.
Oh, really?
I'm a little bitter about it because they went to Petco and bought a fucking bearded dragon in the last tank. And I'm like, you know what I do, right?
Jesus Christ.
And yesterday, her daughter had it in the backyard on the swing, pushing it in the swing. And I'm like, hey,
stop.
Look, I'm not trying to get in your business because it's just obvious she loves that thing, but that is horrible. That thing's beard was totally black. And I'm like,
and it can't be that big. It's from PetSmart.
Yeah, little.
A bird could get it.
Yes, just a hawk flies down and takes it off the swing.
Because they were in the video going, look how black its beard is. And I'm like, that's not a good thing. I said, that is a sign of stress and anger. So she's like, well, could you mind coming over and maybe walking us through? And I'm like, I'm going to tell her, you didn't buy shit for me, but yeah, you're my cousin.
You also want to tell them, like, why didn't you ask me shit before you got this thing?
It was one of those. There's an impulse buy. They were out shopping and they went into PetSmart to get dog food and they had a sale on bearded dragons. They got it for like $30. And she's like, I didn't think that the cage would cost that much. And I'm like, yeah.
That's why they're a horrible beginner pet. Is the setup for a bearded is ridiculous and people don't want to pay it.
Right. And luckily her boyfriend.
Expensive animals.
Yes.
Yeah. But it has UV and it has they showed me everything they got.
Speaking of UV, if anybody wants to save 15% on their VivTech products, use code Gumbo22. Just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta keep plugging that. There's Sam. He's gone. So, oh no, what did I do? There we go. All right, I want to run to our other question real quick. Our other question was, what is the most unique or coolest animal you have found while herping? And Paul Byfield's answer was his ex-wife.
I don't think he found her while herping.
I don't think it was while herping. Not herpes, herping.
Yeah.
Paul, herping. Robert, you want to tell yours? Because yours is pretty cool.
Mine was a Texas tortoise.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah, outside of their range.
Yeah, in Brazoria County, Texas. Went on hey, I think I have a sulcata tortoise in my yard. And send me a picture, and I'm like, that's not a sulcata. Well, this one was dead in the ditch a couple weeks ago, and it was another Texas tortoise. I think we talked about it on here, but someone got it, and he stayed with me for a few days, and then it was going to be like 2 weeks before Texas Parks and Wildlife could get the rescue lined up to take him, and I was going to be going to shows. So Megan, our friend Megan, took him, she came over to see him, and I sent her a message and was like, hey, bring a tub with you. And I think she did like 100 miles an hour to my house. So she took him home, and then Gina's Heart of Gold ended up getting a baby that someone picked up in South Texas because they thought it was a baby redfoot because they do kind of look like that. So Megan ended up with 2 of them for a couple days, and then they went to a rescue in Angleton to be taken to South Texas to live on a big Texas tortoise rescue.
Oh, it's such a shame that I'm glad they're protected.
Yeah,
but man, they are like the perfect pet tortoise for anybody in this area to own.
Yeah.
It's like a box turtle sized tortoise that could live outside here.
But it's really weird that in the middle of this was in the middle of town that there was 2 Texas tortoises found in the same yard. Yeah. And that yard backs up to like 4,000 acres of what was cow pasture, but just got cleared like a month ago to be a subdivision. So, and that area is kind of the transition from the Brazos River bottoms to more prairie. And, they like that sandy, loamy soil like we have in South Texas. Yeah. And there's a lot of those high sand knolls out there. And I just wonder if maybe there was a small population of them living out there, and they've been disturbed now because of the clearing. Because had they known those were out there, they would not have let them clear that land.
Yeah.
No way they would have let them clear that land, but it's too late now.
That sucks.
Gone. There's actually houses already being built out there. But yeah, that was cool.
Corey Martin's was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Hers was a beaded lizard.
Yeah.
She got an awesome picture of a beaded lizard. Max Hicks was a ball python.
Yeah.
I mean, he posted
in Africa.
It was an actual ball python in Africa. But then he also posted a picture of the mamba up in a tree.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
The first mamba found in that country.
Yeah.
I guess.
First one, documented on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua Stover posted a picture of a 5-legged toad. It's got a leg growing out of its throat.
It's kind of grown out of the top of its other leg.
Yeah, it's something happened during formation there.
Russell had a 5-legged little Savannah monitor.
Yeah,
at the College Station show.
I remember Todd Mills said the vipers of South Carolina are great, but he always loves finding hognoses. So that'd be vipers, be your rattlesnakes there, and your cottonmouths, and your cottonmouths there. I'm sure they get cottonmouths.
Probably
Copperheads. Lewis, or this isn't Lewis. This was Lizzie. This is Little Shop of Horrors, but not Lewis. Said they posted a picture of a ribbon snake eating a frog ass first.
Yep.
That would be very interesting to find. Let's see. Mine's probably finding the same coach whip twice. Found it, caught it, took pictures, brought it to school to show it because it was during college. Went back, released it in that area, and then like a few weeks later went back, found the exact same one because it had a big scar down its back, so it was obvious.
I guess I found the same blind snake 2 days in a row.
That was also on my list, was finding that blind snake just because I'd never seen one.
Because Russell and I found it one day, and then you went with us the next day, and I was like, "There's gonna be a blind snake under that rock," and we flipped it over, and it was still there.
That was a cool find.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen a blind snake, and it's a weird ass little worm.
Yep.
I found a breeding pair of southern hognose once.
I wonder how often those get eaten by the Texas Browns.
Blind snakes? I bet a lot.
Because we were finding a lot of those tarantulas.
Or say even by the tarantulas. I bet the tarantulas.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, they don't brown snake. I bet decays would also eat them too.
Maybe.
So, what's the coolest thing y'all found?
I like the little water snakes.
I was going to say greedy water snakes. Watching these
so funny.
itty bitty little animals try and swallow giant sunfish is the great. They're bashing their heads against the rocks. They're just shoving and shoving and shoving. And I'm like, we'll be out there an hour and a half or something, and he's still working on the same fish. Will not give up.
Yeah.
And then of course, you walk by another one, and all you see is they'd come out of the water. As soon as they see you, and they just disappear, and then they come right back up. You're like, good God, they're still there, and it just goes on all night.
They're
determined.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people probably don't know that you guys went fishing every single day last year, right? Did y'all make every single day?
We made all but 4 because we were doing like cross country enclosure delivery stuff.
That was it.
Yeah.
All but 4. But then we ended up this year we fished, I think, half of the year.
Yeah, we've
almost probably 4 months or so, almost every day. So it's been bananas.
But this is fun to see the snakes. You'll see them go by, and I caught one time, and a guy was like, "I thought you had a fish." He's like, "You got a snake? You get away from me!"
Yeah, all the guys, kill him and look out. And now she's over there carrying one around. They're looking at me like, "What is your wife doing?" And I'm like, "Just leave her alone. She's fine."
One of the coolest things I ever found was a buttermilk racer. Because when I lived in Louisiana, I had seen pictures of buttermilk racers in books, but it was always like illustrated pictures, and they're blue. And I'm like, that's not fucking true. There's no way it's blue snake. And then pulling into my driveway one day, I lived off a highway, pulling right into my driveway, right there, like next to the culvert underneath my driveway. This beautiful dark blue with white spots buttermilk racer just coiled up, and I reached out and just picked it up, and it didn't try to bite, didn't try to run. One of the coolest looking snakes to see in person. And then also while I was in Louisiana, I found a population of buttermilk racers that were brown. I found one of those in a while. That was really cool.
Yeah, there's some ugly ones over there.
Yeah, they are.
Remember the one my buddy sent me Saturday from up in Montgomery?
Oh, yeah.
It was like almost white. It had so many spots. He said, "What is this? It's eating a frog." He said, I couldn't believe how fast because it was eating like a leopard frog.
Yeah.
He goes, "That thing jumped like 20 feet and the snake still caught it." I said, "Yeah, they're
fast.
fast." What you do, Stephen, when she's carrying that snake and the guys are freaking out is pull a picture out of her carrying one of her big monitors around and say, "Well, that's nothing compared to this." Then they really shit themselves.
Yeah, our minds would be.
Yeah, she's got that big black dragon, and she'll take him out in the front yard, and he's just kind of stomping around with his little leash and harness, and people drive by and stop, and they have to ask what it is, and it's like,
is it a Komodo dragon?
You get that or just iguana. Yeah, that's a good one.
Somebody asked to say, "What's his name?" That was funny. Yeah.
Neighborhood.
Walk our snakes.
Yep.
Jason asked how the VivTech bulb is doing in the communion cage. He's doing well.
Yeah.
He's still healthy and he's eating and he looks good.
He's basking right now.
Yeah, he's got two UV bulbs. He's got one that's higher up so he can get like closer to it, and one that's farther away from his perches so he can be a little bit farther away so he can adjust how close he wants to be to the UV light.
I think he's just getting heat right now. He's right under his bulb right now.
If he turns sideways, he'll turn sideways underneath there and spread himself out and soak up heat. I just fed him yesterday, which is why that bowl was knocked down because he ate everything out of it. But so far, the VivTech's doing well. I have several animals on them and have nothing negative. And y'all sell VivTech too, right? Or y'all put them in cages?
No, we're just on the UVB stuff we have is just the Arcadia stuff. We haven't done a whole lot of the VivTech stuff just because usually, in a taller enclosure like that or a screen top, it's much easier. But when you're doing a smaller unit, it's a little more difficult to figure out where you want that bulb in there. So we don't have a ton of experience with them. So we're using an inline bulb's pretty easy for us. It's a line. You kind of get where everything's going, but it gets a little more complicated when you've got something that's, spherical basically.
So I'm still waiting. For Ryan to get me some linear bulbs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming.
I hope these things work out. That's a
the
cool
inline,
technology.
the T5 size is it's great. You can fit it in a lot of different applications.
Yeah. And so I know they're working on it. And as soon as it happens, because Robert and I have talked about some ideas with it. I'm ready for it. But so far, I like them. The one thing I do like about the VivTech bulbs is they are small. So they can fit like a little almost a mini dome. Like they are a small bulb.
But they have a regular size base.
Regular size base. You don't have to buy a special.
I don't think that tiny little base thing lasted very long. They don't see those anymore.
It's like whatever E26 or something. I don't. It's the socket style.
The little halogen bulbs, because I have one, and I have to go to like Lowe's to replace every time the little halogen bulb blows. That's the only place I can really find that little thing.
Yeah, those old school, just like the little things.
Yes, they get hot though, man. Those little things. My Uramastics is the only one that really gets it, because it will get really, really hot. I just need something that will get super hot in a small area. But so anyways, let's talk about stuff going on in the hobby lately.
Let's talk about my neighborhood.
Let's talk about your neighborhood. That was great.
All right,
go ahead. Tell us.
You guys will have to indulge me for a minute. So Saturday night, after we've been at the show all day, I'm laying in bed like 10 o'clock trying to go to sleep, and this post pops up. I ended up not going to sleep till like 1 because this got really fun. All right, I'm going to read it. It's a little bit long, but it's worth it. I need to make people aware in our subdivision. I live on the corner of Atascadero and Old Presidio Drive. She didn't even spell her street name right. 40 minutes ago, my husband heard some noise in the front, so he opened the door to see what was going on and saw 2 dogs and 2 full-grown bears in the street. He closed the door, freaking out from what he just saw, and when got his gun, went back to the door to look out the peephole, and the 2 bears were standing right up again on our front door. He thought for a minute he was going to have to shoot through the door. Please watch yourself and your kids and pets. I never in a million years would have thought we would have bears in our neighborhood. Mind you, every sentence has got an exclamation point after it. So I'm probably not putting the right emphasis on this. My husband has called the police department. They're coming out now, but he said when he looked again, they were walking toward the end of the road, headed towards 288, which is the freeway next to us. Please be aware. And I'm like, no fucking way, this is serious.
So there's a couple of things. First, before the natural range of black bears
is not within, the closest I found in my naturalist of one male bear dispersed sighting in East Texas was over 300 miles from here, which means he was probably over 100 miles from his range.
Yeah. Well, because as someone who lives in Louisiana, I know that they basically repopulated the black bear population in Louisiana in 3 places.
Yeah.
And then they've grown. And one of them, they said, fuck it, because the bears kept getting into like people's garbage, and they were basically living off of people's trash, and they were very unhealthy. And wildlife fisheries like, all right, if that population survives, they survive. If not, fuck it, we're leaving these little meth bears to themselves. And they focus on the other 2. So they weren't even overly common in Louisiana that much.
Well, if you go look at the iNaturalist sightings in Louisiana, it's like down one of the rivers in Louisiana. It like follows the corridor.
Yeah.
And then there's some like in far west Louisiana or East Louisiana. So I start looking at the comments, and because James was getting play-by-play as this was happening. She's 100% serious.
Oh, yeah.
100% mad, yelling at us because we don't believe her, because her husband wouldn't make that up.
2 dogs and 2 bears. That's all.
She wasn't home. I don't know if you noticed in the thing she said, I'm house sitting. So, and then I had someone on there start telling me about, haven't you ever heard of the Mexican black bears? They come across the border. It's perfectly plausible that they could be here. And I'm like, yeah, in the Trans-Pecos region, that's like 550 miles from here. And then they're like, I love proving a know-it-all wrong. And they post this link to an article of a bear sighted south of Houston. So I click on the article because I'm like, no fucking way. Houston, Tennessee. In the Smoky Mountains. And I'm like, there's no way this is so easy. I mean, and then they posted another one. Here's another one, Mr. Know-It-All. And I'm like, you're not very good at this. So then I went to bed. When I woke up the next morning, the lady had commented on my comments about, I tried to give some factual information. I was very nice about it. And she's like, my husband wouldn't make this up and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, well, you asked for it. I said, well, there's a couple of options here. I think your husband played a joke on you, not expecting you to make a complete and total fool of yourself on Facebook. And now he's scared to tell you the truth. Because mind you, where they live is in the middle of a neighborhood of about 2,000 houses.
Yeah, a very busy neighborhood.
Nobody else saw them. Nobody has video of them. I said, let's apply Occam's razor to this. The simplest explanation is generally correct. That's not truly what Occam's razor says, and they just refuse to believe. She's still posting about it. Somebody has now created a Facebook account called the Manville Bear. The police did come out. Our mayor has posted about, hey, yes, the police were out looking for bears in this neighborhood.
So let me ask you, as a cop, I figure it's just one of two ways. So this call comes in, and either A, someone's like, oh yeah, I fucking want this call. Yes. Or B, someone's like, all right, new guy gets it.
Okay, so I've had this call, sort of. We had a lady that thought she had cobras in her house. And they're like, Robert, you're the snake guy, go out there. I was brand new. And I wasn't into snakes like I am now, but I wasn't scared of snakes. I would relocate them and stuff. I'd go get them out of garages. I'm like, all right, so I go out there and I'm looking at the call history, and in like 5-year period, we had been out there like 15 times for cobras in her house. And it was always, we told her there's no cobras in her house. Police lingo, UTL, 10-8, whatever. I'm like, I was still in training. I had my FTO with me, and I said, James, his name is James also. We're gonna put a stop to this, man. He's like, all right, what are we gonna do? So we went to the dollar store and we bought some cheap pillowcases, and I bought some socks, like some tube socks, and I put them inside my vest where you couldn't see them. And I told her, we got there and we said, all right, man, we see that you've called a lot and nobody's ever believed you. We're the snake experts. We're going to go back there and we're going to find these cobras in your bedroom. Thank you. You could tell she was not all there. Thank you so much. I've been trying to get help. I've even called the FBI, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, good Lord. So we go back and I like pick her bed up and stand it up against the wall and like making all this noise back there while I get to take the tube socks out and throw them in the bag and walk out like doing like this. I got them. You'll never have to deal with them again. We never got a call from her again. Never. I've worked there 12 years. We never got a call from her again. So yeah, I've had that call. I don't think this lady's crazy. I think she's just dumb.
Well, so Paul said $100 that they call hogs. I don't think so, Paul, because it's in the middle of a neighborhood and no one else saw them. It's not like she lived backed up to a field or something. Yeah, like it's the middle of a very busy neighborhood.
Yeah, and we've had pigs around here, but they've cleared all the woods around us.
Yeah,
deer aren't even here anymore hardly. I saw one deer today in the middle of the day standing out in the sun.
I felt so bad for these deer. They are losing so much of the little corridors here and there.
No, I don't think her husband saw anything. I think her husband played a joke on her, and she not realizing that she'd go make this fucking post in the neighborhood group. But now so I'm like, I guess I saw it before I went to bed because I ordered dinner. So I put a post, a comment, and I was like, just got my Hall brothers off the front porch, no bears. And then like the next morning I was like, walked out to my truck, no bears. And so everybody's like commenting, took trash out, no bears. And there's probably 100 comments of people reporting no bears. But every post in our neighborhood group now is about bears. So yeah, it's been interesting in our neighborhood. But she's still convinced. She's left the neighborhood group now.
I still think that if she saw 2 black bears, she just saw 2 older black bald gentlemen. 2 older black bald gentlemen in their front yard. Yeah, and they were bears.
I mean, my neighbors were having a party at the time. They had like 50 people in their backyard having a 60th birthday party. And I was like, should I go alert them to the bears? And somebody has superimposed. Holy shit, look, it's Yogi and Boo Boo on top of our waterfall in front of the neighborhood.
Fucking great.
Somebody photoshopped Yogi and Boo Boo on top. We have a big waterfall with a big sign in the front of the neighborhood.
Man.
Wow, that's awesome. Guys, this is getting really serious. If you're looking through, I was looking through my photos and never noticed. You zoom in clearly, you can see I saw 2 bears.
Oh, too much fun. Fucking people are stupid.
So someone don't leave out your picnic baskets.
Picnic baskets. Fucking idiots.
People are asking, they're gonna make our property values go down so we don't pay so much in taxes.
Well, I also love that. And I love
yeah.
God.
Everybody starts seeing bears. We all saw bears. Yeah. This place is dangerous.
Well, somebody's car got stolen that night. People are got it by the bears.
Fucking bears.
That's how they got here. They probably came in because they found a stolen car in the neighborhood. And then, like a block away, someone's car got stolen.
That's it.
They were like, somebody's like, "Hey, we don't even need the cops."
Fucking bears.
Yep.
Your cars are not safe now because of bears.
Yeah, bears made a soup kitchen in the car.
Oh, well, people and nature, I want to say ignorance, but I just feel like in 2023, with as much information as that, you can't keep blaming ignorance at some point. At some point, it's just stupidity because you have the ability to fix that ignorance and people just don't. So, like, our friend Megan had someone complain about saying that the alligators in South Texas, in this area, got here after the hurricane.
After Hurricane
Harvey
in 2017. So we just got alligators here in 2017.
Just got alligators in Southeast Texas then.
Yeah. Like Sharknado with legs.
yeah. Forget the millions of years of evolution that put them here. That didn't happen. They were dropped off here during the last hurricane.
One of my friends just had a baby named the baby Kalahari.
Fuck yeah, friend.
What the fuck?
Are they white?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Fucking white people.
Kalahari.
Again, this is why I feel that every hospital should have a naming committee, and you must run your name by that committee before they allow you to take your child out of the hospital.
And if it's something dumb, they should believe it. Like hit you over the head with like a soft bat.
Yeah, you don't get your kid until they have a feasible name. A name that at 30 they don't have to fucking explain to somebody.
There it is. Have someone stole our truck out of our driveway. Blah, blah, blah.
Bears.
Bears.
Bears. Or the folks around here that everybody gets so upset with nature being in their nature around here.
Monday morning, the splash pad was on at 3 a.m. and somebody said it's probably the Bears.
Oh, stupid people. Anyway, so the hobby right now. Let's go into some of the drama in the hobby. There are several new online selling platforms that are starting to pop up now.
Mm-hmm. I've counted 4 already.
Don't ask me the names of any of them because I don't know them, but I keep seeing them pop up in mainly ball python groups. But there are a lot of them popping up now. I think it's very interesting to see how many will still be here
in a year.
There's obviously one main one. There's Morph Market. It has done very well. It's going to be very hard to overtake Morph Market. Again, I compare Morph Market to kind of like Walmart. You don't have to like them to still shop there. I don't have to like some of the stuff that Morph Market does to still understand that it's still a pretty good place for me to sell shit or buy shit. But man, some of the things I saw for about 30 minutes, there was a post that said Morph Market was going to have its first sale starting next week or whatever. I need people to think that through. In order for the Morph Market to have a sale, the breeders on Morph Market would have to agree to put their animals.
Breeders thought it through.
Would have to put it on sale.
The
comments, and then that like many other posts by that person gets taken down very quickly because they realize how stupid it is. But that was one thing I saw over the weekend. I was like, what the fuck is that? If I put something on Morph Market, I'm not putting it on sale. It's at the price that I want to sell it.
Yeah, it's for sale, not on sale.
Yeah, it's for sale, not on sale. So it's just interesting to watch all these little platforms pop up and see where that goes. I don't think it'll hurt the business. It'll hurt the hobby to have them. The more places you can post your animals, the better. The problem is if they all charge, it's going to be hard to afford to put them on all those platforms if you're not selling on all those platforms, right?
Yeah.
So that's just some of the drama that I saw floating around. And then it's fun following the retake people because the retake people are losing their shit right now too over the last month and a half. So that's been fun drama. Cresty people are y'all losing your shit over Cresties, Ashley?
Like losing what? It's freezing. Sorry, it's like the screen froze. Cresteds, it's been pretty slow, honestly. But I mean,
I don't think there's a lot of drama in that end.
Yeah, that's mostly, I'm like, a lot of the crested people have their own websites, so we don't really need to. I'm fine with just selling from my website or doing it old school Facebook
But you're
style.
also selling higher end cresteds. Robert had a conversation this weekend because if you go to a show right now, it is at least 50% ball python and crested geckos. More than that, but
yeah,
ball python, the snake and crested gecko has become the lizard version of the ball python as far as how many people jump into it. And I was telling our friend Brittany Reed, and I didn't mean this aimed at her because I know how long she's been in it, and I don't mean this aimed at Ashley because I know how long she's been in it. But if you look at crested geckos, it's like middle-aged women found their one little niche they could join the hobby, and God, they exploded. It's just tons of middle-aged women.
One lady this weekend that had 2 display cases. One was nothing but lily whites, and the cheapest one, I think she had $1,500 on.
Yeah,
and people weren't even stopping to talk.
No, because they could get them across the show for.
Yeah, I have the same. I do lilies and xanthics, and I'm like, it's not even worth it to go to a show.
Right. But then the people across from us that had, pet grade,
they sold out.
50s. They sold out Saturday and didn't even come Sunday. But yeah, I don't know. I've never seen that lady before at a show. It was a nice looking setup.
It was a great looking setup.
I didn't like that the displays had the orange in them because it kind of threw the color off of the geckos.
It does. It brings your eyes to their display, but then it messes up the animal color, and that is kind of an issue. Yeah. Let me just double check with you, Ashley. Lily white, that is an incomplete dominant trait?
I believe so. Well, yeah, so the super form is a leucistic that's non-viable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you can't sell a lily white at this point in the hobby at $1,500 because they were so easy to make that they have flooded the hobby because everybody's like, oh look, we have this genetic thing and cresteds finally that's not polymorphic, and people bred a shit ton of them.
I guess one of the things, if you want to talk about drama, is the lineage in crested geckos. So like ball pythons, they don't have a lineage. They just they breed a snake to a snake, and you get snake. But with the crested geckos, especially in the higher end stuff, everybody wants lineage. So that's kind of one of the joke points. But it's also got some truth in it too, that breeders say it's not the tire kickers and crested geckos, it's the people asking for lineage. Do you have lineage? And they're like, no, you can, I have here's what the dad was and what the mom was. And they're like, well, what's the grandparent and the great grandparent? I do see merit. I keep up with it. So I can rib myself in the ribs, elbow myself in the ribs because it is kind of funny, but yeah, I guess that's one of the big beefs in crested geckos is they're asking for lineage or whatever. But I keep up with it just because it's one of the things I have my own, not lines, but long time breeding projects. And I like to have it anyway. But if an animal doesn't have lineage, I don't necessarily balk at it. But if it does have lineage, you can ask more and you'll usually get it. But people, a lot of times at shows, they don't care. They just want a good looking gecko. So you don't want, you don't need one from Cresty King, Sunset and Vine or whatever. You just want a good looking gecko that you want to pair with your other good looking gecko. So it really, that's what's the gecko market. I'm like, if you put yourself in the right position, you're going to have your own little market there, but it is very competitive, especially for the pet quality kind of crested geckos. They're all, you can get them at PetSmart. So
yeah. Well, I go to a show and I just wonder how ball python and crested gecko people expect to sell stuff. It's so diluted. So let's go back to how you set yourself as what you do during the slow times. You need to find a way to set yourself apart from everybody else. So in Ashley, your case, you're definitely doing higher end crested. So a show isn't always the best for you because let's face it, not a lot of people are buying higher end cresteds at some of the local shows around here. So you can sell online pretty easily, and that stuff will sell because there's people out there looking for higher end stuff. But if someone's out there breeding lily whites, like every other person who's breeding lily whites, and you're probably going to sell 2 or so at a show, and they're going to sell 2, and then they're going to sell 2, and the other person will sell 2, and you all sold maybe $5,000 in geckos together, but you haven't set yourself. You haven't done anything separate to bring people to just you. which is why I think a lot of people need to look at some of these other species out there, things that they may actually like and enjoy, but they just don't do because they're like, oh, now look, if you want to breed $50 crested geckos for the rest of your life because you enjoy it, do it. I don't give a shit about that. But don't be the person that complains at the end of a show you didn't make any money.
Well, another friend of mine was there this weekend that breeds high-end ball pythons, and I talked to him Sunday morning and said, how'd you do yesterday? He goes, I didn't sell anything. He's like, the cheapest thing on my table is $550. And the people next to us, our friends that sold a bunch of $100 things.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now. I think it shows if it's not a breeder show, you're not selling breeder animals to people that are buying pets.
Right.
You're just not. I mean, you will have the occasional person that'll walk up and be like, I want that snake, and buy a $3,000 snake because they can, and it's something that they want. And I watched an attorney do that because he was setting up a big enclosure in his foyer of his office. And he bought, I don't remember what it was. It was like $3,000 he bought from Don Shores a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
And he just walked around until something caught his eye. He didn't care how much it was.
I wish I'd have thought about it, but I ended up bringing my boas on Sunday, and I wish I'd had them there on Saturday. But there were really no other boas there. So if I go to a show and bring boas, I have a better chance of selling more snakes than someone else because I've got something different. Like, find something different. If you're going to go to shows, be different. Don't keep selling the same brown or slightly lighter brown fucking ball python as everyone else and wonder why shows are bad. Yeah, well, you went to a show with 50 ball python breeders. You all had the exact same morph on your table, and you're wondering why 5 people sold one and you weren't one of the 5. Right? It's just business. Like, if you're out there to try to make money off of them, you got to find a different way. And like I told you, I like boas over ball pythons. I get a boa, and I get a higher end boa, more genes, and get 15 to 20 babies out of it. Whereas you have to get 5 eggs out of a ball python and have to have several of them. I can do it with less snakes.
Yeah.
And be separated from everybody else at the show because they don't have them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there was like 2 boas at the show this weekend.
Yeah. And like our friend Corey Martin is getting into some really awesome dwarf monitor species. That's just so cool. Shows. Yeah. She's got some really cool stuff. And when they start reproducing. Oh, I fucking love those.
Those are my freaking favorite. The leucistics. Oh, they're so cool. If I didn't have giant freaking monitors, I'd have those.
But she's gonna, I don't say kill it, but she's definitely gonna do well at shows because no one else has
it's
that
not
stuff.
suited. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like David over at Eclectic Reptiles. He's got those awesome looking anoles that no one else has at shows.
Yeah.
So he sells one anole at $5,000. It's a great show.
Did you say Carl yet?
Or Carl with the leechies. He's got, like, other people have leechies, but not everybody has Carl leechies.
Right.
Well, that's what, like, the same with the crested geckos. It's like you got to know what the good structure is, you know, and also the lineage. I'm sure he has lineage and stuff. So when you buy from somebody like that, you're getting something different. They put more effort into it, and they know they're not lines, but they know they're animals, and that it makes a difference. That's part of separating is having the structure and having the large animals. You're not like breeding undersized geckos, and so it all makes a difference. So that's why you say, like, oh, it's his animals, not, you know, somebody else that sells leechies. That's what he's done for himself.
You know, and look, I've got lots of friends that sell ball pythons, but their tables don't stick out for me. And it's not anything against them, but let's face it, if you're not a ball python person who thinks that this one shade of brown is the shit, then it's not going to do anything for you when you're walking around a show. Like, but split rock, right? You go by and you see those black-headed pythons. No one else has a tower of black-headed or exanthic black-headed pythons.
Right.
Those are going to stick out.
Yeah, they were cool. Arlington, yeah.
You know, and if Jim sells one snake, it's a good weekend.
Well, it's funny because Jim's so unassuming too.
Oh yeah.
Like, just, you know, kind of soft-spoken and such a nice, always smiling, and just makes some. I can't wait to
those king snakes. Oh man, his speckled king snakes are. I love mine. They're fucking amazing. Or look, I'll even go ball pythons, right? If I were going to buy one, but if we're going to buy an ultra male, I'm going to him.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen pictures of other people's ultra male ball pythons. They don't look like his. So he does sell a common animal, but he sells a very, very nice version of that animal that other people are trying to,
yes, he does,
to make.
That's the difference. So, that's for, yeah. Put the time into it, get good breeding stock. That's that's the perfect, and now this is the perfect time to do that. So if you're slow, like the crested geckos are, that's what I'm doing is I'm looking at my animals and pairing the ones that are quality that have, I've bred over the years, and that's how you create your brand, basically.
Yeah.
You put the time and the effort and the quality into it. I know it sounds kind of, it's a really simple equation, honestly. It's just put time, effort, quality, and it comes out in the end. Because like everything, it's cyclical. So even if it's slow now, I mean, you can tweak your kind of your breeding, and you can tweak, what you're doing behind the scenes. Maybe try to be more vocal on social media, or go to shows and be more present and meet people. And I'm like, it all comes out in the wash in the end.
Well, and the problem, there's two problems with that recipe for success there. One is time. Too many people are not patient enough. And so to me, that tells me you're not really in the hobby for the right thing, because I will wait years to try and get to what I want to get to, right? Mm-hmm. And
that's what it takes.
And the other part of that is quality, which a lot of times is going to mean money. It does not mean let me search Craigslist until I find something that says it has the gene that I want. Look, I love jungle boas, jungle and hypo, but it took me forever to find the male that I got. And I passed on a lot of them before I got to it. You can definitely find a boa with jungle in it, and it can look like absolute dog shit, but it's got the gene. Way to go! And you're going to produce animals that look like dog shit. Look, I just produced a litter. I'm going to have a bad mouth now. The female's a snow. She is not the prettiest snow. The male I bred her to is a very nice hypo jungle. Now I know het anery, not het albino, but a very nice version. And I got a couple of babies out of that litter that look like him. They have the super clean background. They look like him. Those aren't leaving my house. I will wait 3, 4, 5 years till they are ready and continue what I'm trying to do. Right? So it just takes time to get there. People have got to find a project, find something,
That's the positive side of lineage, is you've had your base of the animals, where they come from. And so you can make jokes about it, but it does matter. So you can say, oh, like this is, as you build up your project there, you'll be able to say, well, this was the sire, this was the dam, and this is the offspring, and this is what I paired it to. So I'm like, it matters. So you can laugh at it, but if you're actually trying to create something for the long run, then it's good to have.
When I joke all the time with boas, and with a lot of things, albino hides ugly. Look, I've seen a lot of snow and albino boas for sale, and I have enough experience with looking at them when I go, okay, I get it. It's a white and red snake or a white snake. But if that snake had pigment, in my eyes, it would be a fucking ugly snake. Like, it just, you can tell by how the pattern kind of looks. Like, there were some sun glows at the show this weekend. There were 3 sun glows on the table. And because they're bright white with bright red, catch people's eyes. But if you know what to look at, you can go, man, if you don't produce albinos from that and you produce some normals from that, they're going to be kind of ugly, because they didn't start with pretty animals to make that animal. And you have to start, you can't just go search for a gene. You have to go search for a gene in an animal that looks the way you want your future animals to look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
start with your base. It's your foundation.
Yeah. But anyways, that's my soapbox. But I do have boas for sale. If anyone wants to check them out, go check out Simply Servants on Facebook. Yeah, I got some boas. I do need to fix a few. That's another problem. What?
I was saying, I know you don't like the anery, but I think they're awesome.
See, everybody loves them. It's everybody but me. I was sitting there on Brittany Reed's table. Well, they were sitting on Brittany Reed's table this weekend. She's like, I really love these aneries. Katie fucking loves them. Robert likes the darker ones. I'm like, I'm glad it's the ones I'm selling, because that's not the ones I like. Because when I was like trying to figure out which ones to keep. I told Katie, I can tell you which ones I know are not staying. All the fucking aneries are gone. They're all getting sold. But I do have to go fix. In my pictures I took, I also kind of put a description of what they are. And the problem with some genes, and I'm sure this happens especially in cresteds, because fuck, you can breed 2 cresteds together and get babies that look nothing like the parents.
I have no idea. Yeah.
So jungle and hypo and boas do some of the same stuff. And so when you start producing babies that are jungle hypos or jungles, and then you mix anery into it. And so like, I have some that I realized this weekend after staring at them for a while are labeled off just by one gene. I got to fix that, but it gets very tricky with certain genes when when it's not like this is albino, this is anery. Like those recessive genes are super easy. You get into this like incomplete dominant genes that can range on a scale, and then you put them together. That shit gets very confusing. Or you can get into cresteds where only like 3 things are genetic and everything else is polymorphic and nothing makes sense.
Yeah, it's getting sorted out now, but I mean, back when I started like 5-6 years ago, it was everybody's like, Xanthic's not a real thing. It's not recessive. They don't have recessive genes. Now, obviously, they have like Phantom's recessive. You've got it goes. I mean, the list goes on, but it's just the development of how popular crested geckos have gotten. Especially with the COVID stuff, I'm like, they're tiny. They only make 2 eggs at a time, which is kind of a bummer, but they do have a season. But yeah, they've definitely put a lot more research into the cresteds, especially with like all the overseas stuff. Cresteds are, I'd say, more popular in Europe and Asia than they are here. So that's kind of helped diversify, and a lot of the research is being done over in Korea, which is they've got some phenomenal stuff.
So that's cool. And I bet some of that stuff looks really neat. But then I go to a show and I see so many crested geckos that look exactly the same. It's kind of like ball pythons to me. There's so many that, like, I don't know what I'm looking at. It's just a tannish, yellowish lizard that's missing its tail. And it won't grow back because it's evolved stupid.
They got frog butts, man.
Stupid evolution. Lose tail and not grow it back. What kind of fucking lizard is that?
We have a crested gecko in our home.
I have one in my home downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that amazes me the most about them, it's a yellowish gold color.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like.
You ever seen it?
What didn't impress me enough to remember it. My daughter and future daughter-in-law gave it to my son for his birthday.
And now it's his problem.
He loves that thing.
Here's my other problem with the crested gecko as a species. As much as like ball pythons are boring, they just sit there. The behavior of a crested gecko is also fucking annoying. They just jump into space. Just into fucking space with no thought of their life whatsoever. Yep. They won't jump towards you. They just jump. Like they could be on top of a skyscraper. Like, oh, that seems like a good direction to go, and yeet themselves off the skyscraper.
Yeah,
and I can only figure
jump straight at me.
I
get hammered all the time.
In the mornings we do. That's when crested. So both of us are out at 2 hours, at least 2 hours a day. So it's in the morning. That's when we get up. First thing is it's still dark out, so they're up because they're more nocturnal or crepuscular.
Yeah.
And Steven had one the other day. You know, we're working on separate tubs, cleaning them out, and one climbed up onto the edge. And I was like, he was set up to jump. Like, he's about to jump. And we're like, yeah, okay. And usually you can kind of like push him away, but this guy, I knew he was going to jump. He ended up jumping, and he did a cartwheel because he jumped so hard.
He was facing me, and he somehow jumped backwards and helicoptered away. It's like 5:45 in the morning. I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at. I'm like, did he come at me? Did he go away?
Did he bounce off the stuff?
Then, of course, you hear like every one of them makes just splat, and then it's on. You got to.
I can only figure, evolutionary wise, they live in a very forested area, and just jumping out of a tree to not get eaten by a lychee, they hope to hit a branch, a stick, or a leaf or something on the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then lose the fucking tail.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they got to escape, man. They got something on their tail.
Just like every lizard over there's like, yeah, we lose our tail, but we grow that shit back. This idiot just drops it because he got scared. Someone closed the door too hard, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" Drop his tail.
Yeah, yeah, it's thundering outside. We got a problem.
I'm amazed ours still has a tail. It's been in Katie's classroom with little kids, and they've held it, and I've held like every time it jumps in it. I'm like, this tail's got to go at some point.
Ours is the front, but
is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
So?
Knock on wood. I've only had 2 lose their tail out of like over 100. So
that's impressive.
Usually it's when you do something stupid, touch them wrong.
The weirdest part of it is it's not a useless tail. They hold on to things with that.
Yeah,
it's got a little pad, and
yeah, but yet they still lose it and don't grow up. Like anoles just kind of use their tails somewhat for balance, but they can still live without it, and they grow their shit back. What a stupid lizard!
There was a little tiny knoll on your porch.
It only has 1 brain cell, so.
And that one doesn't work properly. I'm also convinced that we only imported the stupid ones. There's an entire population somewhere out there in Indonesia that's fucking geniuses, And they're like, yeah, no, we don't do all that stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's like
and we don't get caught.
It's like the Asian carp over here that jump when boats scare them. But then you show videos to people in Asia where they're like, yeah, they don't fucking do that over here. Yeah, because we only got the stupid ones and then they reproduced. Yeah. And now we just have the stupid ones here.
So it's like an idiocracy. All the stupid ones reproduce on a massive scale, and the smart ones don't.
That's what happens. We were like, oh no, crested geckos are extinct. Let's just breed a ton of them and bred the stupid ones. And they're like, no, we're not extinct. We're just really good at hiding. You called our dumb cousins.
Yeah.
But
electrolytes.
Brondo.
Rondo.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
What plants crave.
Plants crave.
The reptile world asks, I have 2 anoles, and can I put an emerald grass lizard with them? I got a green anole male and female. I honestly don't know. I don't want to tell you yes, because I don't know.
Somebody just posted in a snake ID group, a Texas snake ID group. Found these 2 rattlesnakes around our home. No, you didn't, because that's a fucking eastern diamondback. It might be a western. No,
that's a western. You can see the tail.
Texas by Dallas. We live on a small ranch. Can anyone tell me if they're male or female? Well, they're both dead. It doesn't matter at this point, because that one doesn't have a head, and you're pinching the shit out of the other one. Also, what is the best way to keep them away? We have thought about laying out fake eggs. Would that help?
The fuck's a fake egg gonna do?
So that
I've seen that. I fucking hate when people do. I always tell people that have chickens, like, don't use those fake eggs.
If you do glue them down.
Yeah. Because rat snakes, talking about this stupid ass snake, will just eat a fake egg.
Oh, yeah.
It smelled like chicken.
I can see Mario.
It's around chickens.
I can see Mario. Mario Nixon, the rescue guys from Sean.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, fake eggs won't kill snakes. And the person commented, I didn't word that correctly. I meant to ask if they will eat the fake eggs and then go die. And I could just see Mario. He's runs Nature's Edge Rescue. I could just see Mario right
how
now.
How about you go eat the fake egg and die?
Yeah. God damn, I hate people.
So let's real quick go over some things that we didn't have a show last week. There's a lot of stuff on our Facebook page, our discussion group that got posted. One being this really, you know what? I'm gonna share this page because I always do this, and then people bitch. By people, I mean Chris Eaton.
You're just talking about it and not showing it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use the technology that I have at hand. Damn, there was a lot of shit posted over the last.
Well, we're not going through it all because we got like 15 minutes.
I'll fast forward through a lot of it. Do I go with? Let's see. This. Nope. Share screen. There we go. I'm gonna figure out this technology. I promise. Maybe. One of these days. All right. So the first one is this really cool looking snake. Okay, I'm gonna butcher this name, but it's a snake from China, Azemiops carinii.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce it. But look at that fucking thing.
Oh yeah, that thing's.
It's got a white head and a black and red body.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely looks like it will kill you.
Must say, if I get bit by a venomous snake, it's gonna be that because I'm not trying to touch it.
It's so pretty. I have to poop its snoot.
Yeah, I won't be saying that.
The last thing die.
This one is a sea snake that's in like the bycatch from stuff on a boat. Wow. Nathan Holcomb was asking, aren't they extremely venomous? A lot of snakes are, I think all sea snakes are, but from my understanding, most of them are really calm. But I mean, I still wouldn't do what the fucker's doing in this video. And
yeah, I like how he's like,
very nice.
He's like scruffing the snake.
Yeah, but then he just like yeet.
He's like, oh, it's so nice and gentle, and then fuck, you get off a boat.
He just throws it by the head, by the throat.
Right. Have a good life, motherfucker.
See ya.
Yeah, you probably see a lot.
You're so beautiful. Get the fuck out of here. Not doing cute stuff. We'll go past that. Oh, my dad was an alligator. People found an alligator in their house.
Yeah, came into the dog yard.
I'm never that fucking lucky.
Right. Well, I was just looking at a picture a minute ago. The Alabama snake ID group. Somebody took a picture of a rattlesnake curled up on top of the baskets at Walmart, at timber, and I'm like, that wasn't happened to me. I'm never okay with that.
What was it? You saw something there where someone was like, nobody wants snakes in their yard. I was like, whoa, hey, whoa.
Like an article, a news story that started. Nobody wants to find snakes in their yard. And I'm like, I beg to differ.
Excuse you stuff for passing that. No. Travis Wyman posted, what's this motherfucker? What's this stupid ass?
Alex Jones.
Oh, stupid guy. But he was the one that said frogs were gay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the remix.
The remix.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play it on here, but yes, go check that out on our discussion page.
It's pretty epic.
I used to watch Alex Jones when he first started, and he was somewhat rational. Did not take long for that to go off the rails. And then I would just watch it for entertainment. He's been on Joe Rogan a couple times.
Yeah.
It is, to listen to that shit is just like, how does Joe sit through that? But
because he knows he's gonna get a lot of
this
listens.
was before all the Sandy Hook shit. And, but yeah.
I apologize, Max. I've not watched this video, but Max did a video setting up a naturalistic
videos.
Yeah, apparently. Naturalistic enclosures for an adult caiman.
Yeah, it was cool. I watched it.
What did you watch it? The real question there is, why are you owning a fucking caiman?
I want to.
We had someone come in. Fuck that. I like my hands and fingers. Someone came in the show today. So on my table, it's not my table, somebody else's table, but I'm on there. All I got is boas. Guy walks up straight to my table, and goes, "Are any black or dwarf caiman?" What the fuck? When did boas associate with? So luckily, it was Brittany and I. We did know somebody who does have dwarf caimans, and we gave him the information. But I'm like, this guy's gonna lose a finger.
Well, I don't know if you were gone. Somebody walked up to Todd's table, and he had his snakes labeled lesser, and the guy just looks at him and goes, "Lesser and better are the same thing," and walks off. Todd was like, "I know, thanks." That's the only thing. That was the only interaction.
That's one of those people that have to prove how smart they are, which means they're not that smart. But they have to try. The one thing, if they know something, they got to make sure you know it so that you'll think that they're really smart. Fucking people. This one is a box turtle riding the metro in DC. They just found a box turtle on the metro.
It's chilling.
I've been on the metro, and the stairs to get down to those things take forever. That turtle was put on that fucking train. It did not wander on there.
He's missing his bear.
His bears.
This one was Brian got just a perspective of how large the flying reptiles, I'm not gonna butcher that word, but how big they were. And it's just fucking massive to look at these giant flying reptiles. Just imagine nowadays. And then like there's a picture of it next to a giraffe. It's just as tall as a giraffe. And Travis talks about, just imagine trying to watch this thing take off. Because it had to have this like stupid waddle takeoff flap thing. Because there's no way it just took off straight up into the air.
Yeah.
So, God, I'm so glad we weren't around. The dinosaurs would have destroyed us.
Oh, yeah.
Small birds or the devil.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
Have you seen a heron? Or I don't know what else they're called, but the herons, they have pointy beaks like that. You see them catch fish in the lake and they take them and they'll grab them and they look and they go stab and they just spear the fish many times.
Yeah, one flew from the lake into our backyard with the biggest shad I've ever seen. And all he did was just brutally spear it, pick it up, throw it on the ground, stare at me, spear it, pick it up. And he just did it over and over. And I'm like standing in the backyard like, I need an adult. This is so fun.
There's no more horrifying animal than the shrike.
Oh yeah,
shrikes.
Birds.
They will catch birds or lizards, or they'll catch mice or lizards. Then they go and they stab them onto a pointy stick or barbed wire fence.
Yeah, we used to have a lot of little snakes and stuff hanging from our barbed wire fences, and especially out on the prairie where the shrikes are. You know, my grandpa was called them butcher birds.
Demented fucking birds. Like, look at my kill. It's like when you think back to like when they used to put like heads on sticks and.
I'm gonna name it William Wallace. When I used to guide a lot of waterfowl hunts in my younger days, our dogs, if we were doing sandhill crane hunts, we would have to put goggles on them because a wounded sandhill would go right for the eyes and they'll fucking dog up.
Damn. Yeah. Travis showed this picture of a Kenyan sand boa in the wild eating a bird, which it may have gotten out of a tree, but it may have also gotten as it came down to the ground, eat something and grabbed it. I'm not saying sand boas can't climb trees. I'm just saying, when we're talking dumb animals, I've seen sand boas try to hold on to shit and they're not good at it.
Yeah.
So, I've always said if they could fall off the ground, they'd fucking do it. Cool article about these little turtles in Myanmar, critically endangered. Those are cool little turtle. What else we got? Oh, this is a cool video. Are they Ammonites? It's like almost like a prehistoric
Nautilus.
Like a nautilus. It's like a prehistoric relative to the nautilus.
Yeah.
But it's showing like what it would have looked like when they existed. You see them all clinging together as a giant mass when they come out of the water to be able to go from like pool to pool. Just really cool video. Travis Wyman had are those bitey babies? What are those?
Kukris.
Are those kukris?
Woke up to my first set of kukri.
Why am I not seeing the words there?
Because it's like the second sentence.
Oh, because I quit reading after I saw ball python.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Kukris, good. There's a chance for Travis to get bitten, stabbed by those weird ass fucking teeth. That's another weird one. Let's see what else do we find. Oh, Miloradovich's kids. I see they're wearing gloves because they're smart. Smart kid wearing gloves when handling snakes. So fuck anybody that makes fun of me. Should always wear gloves because bites suck. This is a cool picture. Picture of a copperhead inside of a turtle shell.
Harem.
It's apparent they're evolving. They're learning how to use armor. We're gonna be screwed once they figure this shit out.
Well, they're already crossing with the king snake, so then there's a king snake poisonous. That's what some lady was trying to tell me a few weeks ago. Oh, you like snakes? Let me tell you about this. I forgot where I was at. It was one of those events that I went to with non-reptile people, and I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. And of course, somebody has to bring up, well, how many snakes do y'all have in your house? That's pretty personal. Oh, how you know about those copperheads that are crossing with the king snakes? The only thing a king snake does to a copperhead is turn it into shit. And I had to get schooled on that. Should have told me all about crossing, and now king snake can bite you and it's poisonous. And I'm like,
yeah, people are dumb. Some Boega. Trying to see what else there is. There was so much that got posted. Oh, there's was this
it's a caiman
in Denver?
Yeah,
Caiman. Someone released a caiman into a lake in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big caiman too.
And that's how we become to not be able to have caiman.
Yeah, I guess the only positive thing is it'll probably freeze if it was still left out there over the winter, but it sucks for the caiman.
Mm-hmm.
Snake does cartwheels to escape danger. I did not watch or read that one. I'll have to go. There is the one. There's the wives tale about coach whips. The coach whips will bite their tail and turn into a wheel to roll down hills to get away from danger. I always love that one. Here are two copperheads fighting, two males combat fighting.
That's cool.
The impressive thing about venomous snakes combat fighting, and it's not that they know to not do this, it's just evolution has caused the ones that do it to die. But they don't bite each other, right? Because they would still die from their own. They can die from venom.
On this video, I had a lady trying to convince me that they're mating, and I'm like, if you think that's mating, you've never seen snake mating.
Yeah, no.
Because it's a lot more severe than that.
Yeah. They are trying to pin the other one's head down and go, I am bigger and stronger.
Because she put combat in like under the things, and she's like, I guess that's what some people could call it. And I'm like, what else would you call it? And she was like, nookie, bottle like made up. And I'm like, no. That's not what they're doing. I mean, it is 2023, not judging anybody.
Maybe her and her spouse just beat the shit out of each other.
Maybe so.
That's how they do it. She comes to work with bruises and go, I had a great night. But that shit happens. So a video like this will get posted in the general ether of Facebook, right? With a stupid caption about how whatever. And then people will start to believe that shit and it gets passed around. It happens all the time with different videos.
I'm making that into a sign.
What?
I can love a dick on a snowman.
Here's one of my holdbacks. Anybody wants to look at it?
Keep going.
We're showing everybody. It's one of the ones that's not leaving my house.
Yeah,
it's clean.
Butterfly on its back. I don't know what else to call them.
Yeah.
Do you know what they look like? The little things that hold ace wrap.
Oh yeah.
Together. They look pretty cool.
It was also the only one that had the sides where they were vertical stripes instead of little diamonds, and then it still had some of the jungle pattern on its back, and it was clean. That was the big. So that's what That's my project that I'm working towards. That's why I think people. And if you're not a morph person, I get it, and you want to breed the Prius. Look, Jim Sargent does those speckled king snakes. They're not a morph; they are locale.
Yep.
But he breeds super clean, really pretty ones. So if you're not a morph person and you want to breed a certain species, breed the best looking version of that species.
Oh, were you sitting there when that guy asked me this weekend? You were about the king snakes, and I told him that I knew somebody that was going to have them, and then he was like, "Come to find out we knew each other."
Oh, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, you were. You were sitting there.
Oh, what paying attention?
And he's like, "Oh, I'm so and so," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know who you are." Yeah. When he realized who I was, he walked off really fast because I caught him in a park one night with someone, not his wife, and that was his wife, and arrested him because he was drunk and he was belligerent, and she had to come get his truck and was like, "Who's this bitch?" And yeah,
and you weren't tempted to go.
That's why I got super awkward.
You weren't tempted to go. You're the guy that was fucking that other
woman.
I
was trying to. I was about to start. So I was like, "Yeah, we know each other. Remember that time?" But he walked off. I think, burned off.
Oh, this is a horrible picture. This rattlesnake ate a rat that was attached to a rat trap, and so you can see the rat trap inside of the snake. They got it out. The snake's fine, but
wow.
Did the snake set the trap?
that's what it is.
They're evolving.
You're pretty clever.
Fuckers are learning weapons. Okay, that's a ball python, so I can scroll past that. It's on there twice. I can definitely scroll past it. That's Max's face.
They want you to see it.
Oh, this is the teeth on the emerald tree boas.
Oh yes.
Fucking horrifying. Things of nightmares.
Cool.
I want one. That's one of those ones where my gloves won't do shit.
No.
It's going straight through.
You have green trees, right, Ashley?
Yep, we have green trees. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have nearly the mouth that they do. They're still bitey though.
Lots of teeth, like to bite, not like that.
Yeah, not like that. That's more the croc monitor for that.
Yeah. Max posted that he's raffling off this this metal bear print from when he went to Alaska and didn't get eaten by a bear, which is super rude. That was the only thing I asked was that he got eaten by a bear. Asshole. But if anybody wants to put in, that's $5. It's using to raise money for his next expedition where you can take pictures of some other really common reptile in the wild. Crocodile newts. Great. Now Katie wants crocodile skinks. Now we're going to get these fucking crocodile newts.
Croc skinks are sweet. And those things look cool too.
Croc skinks are cool. It's just like if you have them set up right, you almost never see the damn things.
No, you probably don't follow us on Instagram. I posted an Instagram today of Greg watching Stephen clean. Greg's our croc skink. He watches everything.
Katie wants one. What is this? I haven't watched this. Okay, so it's
hung up there.
It's a cheetah or a leopard. There's food up there in the tree. And then the mom is down on the ground. Or is that the cub? I think it's a leopard. Oh shit.
Oh, the fuck smoked them.
I didn't see that coming. All right, for everybody just listening.
I don't think it knew the other one was there.
It was a leopard in a tree with an impala and a leopard on the ground underneath it. And the one up top dropped the impala on his head and it scared the shit out of him.
He jumped.
There's a smaller one in the tree.
Yeah. I think it was the mom and it was the cub that knocked it out of the tree on top of it. I think that's what happened. That was fucking hilarious.
I missed that one. I'm glad I saw it now.
It's a picture of a bobcat with a baby alligator in its mouth. At least it's a bobcat and not a feral house cat with an alligator in its mouth. This I can be okay with.
It's natural.
Yeah, not a fucking tabby holding one in its mouth. I love this one too. A picture of a little corn snake in a hand. Person going, "Oh my god, where are you holding that snake for? It might bite you." And then a picture of someone getting bit by a cat.
Yep.
Which is a way worse bite. Way worse bite. Oof.
I've been bitten by a cat and it got infected. Not good.
Ugh. And there's a leopard eating a sea turtle. Mm-hmm. That's got to taste yummy.
It's a big sea turtle.
There's a prairie rattlesnake in the middle of the road. See, that'd be cool to come across a rattlesnake like that.
Well, Veritas are like known for being kind of jerks too. So,
this mailbox that Katie wants us to get, it's a giant sea turtle. It's kind of weird that it comes right out of his chest, but whatever. So
is that against your HOA?
Yes, most definitely fucking HOAs. Everything's against the HOA. Having fun, enjoying life.
Dude, I brought my trash can in yesterday morning at 9:30. I got a picture from the HOA. They took a picture at 9:20 of my trash can out. And I'm like, motherfuckers, I know y'all probably saw me out there a few minutes later picking it up. But to take a picture of it's probably the 20th time I've gotten a violation for my trash can being out in the last 7 years. And I've sent them the same picture every time of my front of my house. It's a similar picture that's gone. I took a picture the day we signed on the house, and I just used that picture every time. The fucking tree's like this big in my yard. It's like 50 feet tall. Yeah. The houses across the street aren't even there. You can see that in the photo. I'm like, yeah, sorry, we put it up.
Nice. Man, people got too much time on their hands to be taking pictures of trash cans.
We just took over the neighborhood, so it's been a management company, but we finally really reached 90% build out. So now that we've been able to create a board of directors, and like the first thing I did was fire the pool management company because they were hiring dumb kids to be lifeguards and they weren't enforcing rules. And but now instead of a paid employee that was driving around looking for violations, it's whoever's on the board that just wants to drive around. And one of the guys on the board's wife ran for mayor, and I was vehemently opposed to her, and she got beat badly. So I got a feeling.
So you fucked yourself over. Got it.
Yeah, you're not going to be their best friend, huh?
All right. So we've done this for 2 hours now, and I really have to pee. It's really the reason we're leaving. It could have been an hour and a half, but if I had to pee this bad, we'd be getting off anyways. Yeah. Thank y'all for coming on. I know it was short notice, but
yeah, thank you.
I like having y'all on.
Thanks for the invite.
I think it's weird. We live so close to each other, but we never see each other.
Well, because they don't do shows anymore.
I know they don't like us.
Well, that's Houston too. I'm like, you never want to go anywhere. You're just gonna get stuck in traffic.
Yeah,
that's true. The problem is we live on exact opposite sides of Houston, which is why
my shop was in Pasadena. All I had to do was go right past I-10 and a couple of exits, and that'd be where they're at.
Now your shop is here, 2 minutes away from your house.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know that we moved last weekend. I found a shop that was 0.7 miles from my house.
That's sweet.
Instead of 26 miles from my house.
That's
that makes a huge difference. I mean, it makes a huge difference, especially if you like. What sucks is sometimes I need to go to the shop real quick for something. I mean, if I have a part I'm working on, I need to just go do a test cut or measure something. It's half an hour away. You know, you can't just go over there real quick. If you can just zip over there and check them out.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
An hour round trip.
Toll roads were,
and then I was spending about $300 a month in tolls.
Dang.
Yeah, not tolls. Tolls are not good.
So what equipment you got over there now? You've got the CNC and you got a laser too?
We got the laser. We don't have a CNC right now.
Okay.
A buddy of mine has one. It just makes more sense that he barely uses it. So it made more sense for me to use his.
Yeah.
And he's right here. So
yeah, his shop is like 10 minutes from the house.
10 minutes from the house. So he has a cabinet company, but he works a full-time job also.
Okay.
So, it's the exact same machine. It's the Laguna 4x8 vacuum table, 8-tool changer. It's the exact same machine. So there was no learning curve. There was no anything. So I was able to, go down $2,000 a month in rent. And where I'm at now, I have a room if I wanted to add one.
Yeah.
But
right.
I'm not going to make any announcements yet, but there may be some big changes on the horizon for us with the direction of the business. So I may not really need to have one all the time soon.
Okay.
Because the laser is proving to be a pretty good asset for what I'm doing.
So what laser are you using?
It's a 130 watt OhmTech 30 by 55. So it cuts the acrylic beautifully. I've been really getting into the acrylics, and with the price increases in PVC that I know you guys are all too familiar with. And I've been finding other ways to maximize every dollar that I invest, and I've found some ways that are working really well.
Yeah.
I'm kind of beating around the bush on it because I don't want to say anything yet, but the laser is, I think, the future.
Yeah, more lasers.
More lasers. I think it's going to be more lasers.
Our laser's been fun.
Yeah, trying to figure out how to set it up and use it was kind of a nightmare because the Laguna we bought, they don't tell you, there's no instructions. It come with a key, some weird shaped things, and a plug. And we spent like a year, it felt like, trying to adjust all the mirrors, which didn't need to be realigned. I think they were fine from the factory, but I tried to figure out how to do that. And then, of course, speed is just YouTube videos and me like stinking up the shop relentlessly. But I mean, once you get it right, it's a very cool tool.
It's beautiful edge.
Well, that's a big thing with the acrylic because he makes the small acrylic cages and stuff. And when they're done on the CNC, they're fine. But man, the way they look now off of a laser, those crystal clear edges look so much better.
Yeah.
The Laguna's the same way with their CNC machines. It just shows up, and they're like, they sent me a link to like 7 YouTube videos that didn't help at all.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they did with the laser. I'm like, hey man, I have a question about this. And they're like, they sent me a manual that doesn't include my machine in it.
Yeah, mine same thing.
Yeah.
And I've learned like my Laguna had one brand of controller. My buddies who bought his 6 months before has a completely different brand of controller. It's the same functions, but it's one was a Rico and his is a home swing or something like that.
Yeah, they just sourced different.
I've seen that movie with home swing.
Yeah. But they I mean literally we get it and I'm like, all right, well, this is 3-phase and we have to wire it in. What goes where? And like my electrician's like, I'm not 100% sure which leg to put where. Can you find out? I'm like, luckily I found other people who had done it and had made YouTube videos. But Laguna I will never buy from them again. That was, I had one of the stepper motors go out the day after the warranty expired.
Oh, some guy's flipping a switch back at home base.
Yeah. And I call them and I'm like, guys, you can't make an exception for this one. They're like, nope. I was like, and I kind of got mad because it took me like 4 days to get someone on the phone. You have to call in, you speak to an idiot who's reading off the prompter, and then you have to escalate it, and you finally get a technician to call you back, and then they have to go through this whole verification process that you bought it from them. And then he's like, nope, we'll send you a new one. It's this much. And I'm like, you really? And I said, you guys are horrible. Your customer service story goes, yeah, we still sell a lot of machines.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, that's
well, I guess they're kind of the lower cost, high volume manufacturers. I mean, it's the same with our laser. I'm like, I didn't have high hopes for it when it showed up because it didn't cost a ton, but it works. It does everything it's supposed to, but you kind of contrast
there's no support.
There's no support, but you contrast that with when we bought that Shop Saver, and that's a totally different deal. I mean, that was like the instruction manual is colored. It's all bound. It has all the wiring I mean, it is insane. Totally different deal.
Let's say goodbye to everybody, and we can talk machines after this. But if people want to reach out to y'all and buy the stuff that was made on your machine, where can they reach out?
We've got our website, www.focuscubedhabitats.com, and we're Focus Cubed Habitats everywhere else. So YouTube, Facebook,
go to YouTube,
Instagram.
watch some Enclosure Talk videos, and figure out what you want.
Yeah.
Yes, do that.
So
if you're like, I want a cage for this animal and I want to put it in my living room, your first step needs to be Focus Cube Habitats.
I agree.
That is furniture quality cage that'll look amazing.
Thank you.
And then for us, if you want to check out Robert for his boxes, he can make you a box or a rack or some other stuff too. Keep watching. Check out lsreptileracks.com. Also remember VivTech, use code Gumbo22 to save 15% on your VivTech products. We'll see you at a herp show soon. And reach out to Little Shop of Horrors for rodents, especially if you're in the Houston area, San Antonio all the time because it's where he's from. But if you're in the Houston area, hit them up and get you some rodents. All right, guys, hang around. Everybody else, we'll see y'all next week. And good night.
Thanks for listening.